Oh man. That's like good. All right. Yeah. Damn it. This is gonna be pretty informal. Um, I am doing a lot of just digital housekeeping, I could say. Oh man, I'm wearing a musty old shirt because after the interview with Zen Garcia is awesome. Um, Definitely a lot of his stuff to read and watch. I mean, I listened to a lot of his interviews over and over, and then making me look at the source. But yeah, feel free to join in. It's just an open topic. Oops, there we go. Open topic. Any topic you want to talk about. If you want to come in and join me, the link is in the description box on YouTube, Steemit, Vim. If you want it on D Live, I can go and post it. Just let me know. While I am doing this, let's see. I've got a comment on on the video with Zen Garcia. Chris Creek asks exactly why YouTube is stopping flat Earth topics. They're hiding the truth and soon will try to make it illegal. We all need another source to share these truths. Please, someone recommend another site like YouTube. Well, so if you're watching now, Periscope. They did stop a lot of my videos once, but I don't know exactly for what reason, but they continued it. So I wouldn't say that that would be the best thing to do is use Periscope. The thing is, I say branch out as many live streaming platforms as you can. The good thing about that is when there's like a critical threshold, they're going to try to shut it down on every platform, right? Now, there's other platforms where you can do it on a blockchain, Steemit and DLive. So those are two good options too. DLive is pretty good. The only thing is you can't upload. So if you got a video that you've already made, you just have to go live and present the video that way. Vim.tv is the same way, but on Steemit, you can go ahead and use DTube to upload videos. If you don't want to do live streaming, you can do DTube. Use DTube. DTube right now, they don't have live streaming. At least when I last looked, because I tried to get it back again, but I guess they disabled it. But they had it on before. They had DTube up, and they stopped it. And it wasn't doing so good when DTube was live streaming to the Steemit blockchain, and that's probably why they stopped it. Let's see. Sorry, just doing some notifications. Error. Really? Gab, what is going on? Oh, they're doing the reCAPTCHA stuff. That's why. There we go. That's okay. So yeah. And I also do from Eric. You'll see Eric on a lot. Eric Hagedis. He's got a channel, a lot of channels everywhere. I'm also doing Restream.me. I think that's what it's called. No, Stream.me. That's what it is. And what I usually do is, rather than having 5-6 computers to stream all at once, you can do 2 streaming services within on one computer using OBS, two sessions of OBS, and it works fine. There'll be an error if you use 3 of them, so you could do at least 2 of those with one computer. So I do Restream, which streams to YouTube if you're watching this on YouTube from there, and also you can see the chat on if you want to display your chat on certain things. So Periscope, anyone who chats on Periscope, anyone who chats on YouTube live, and I guess on Stream.me, if anyone chats on Stream.me, you'll see it there, and I can go and reply to anyone and you'll see it in all 3 different ones. So that's one thing good. One great thing about the Restream app is you can restream to different types of live streaming services. Another good thing is if you have a Windows computer and you have the Restream application installed, you have settings where you can actually download either to text or to an image file of every conversation that was going on. So if someone was chatting on YouTube and someone maybe was complaining that someone's saying something like this or whatever, you can go back and read it all in case you want to like ban them or something like that, or someone was asking a question, or just to see who's in the channel. Like sometimes I've seen like people come in my channel, which is pretty cool. Like who was it? Hard Bastard came in. Hard Bastard came in my channel once. I was like, ah, wow. But he was going through Periscope. Sorry if I snack. This is going to be very informal, open topic. I'm just planning on stuff, trying to write things down, get a little bit more organized. I have a lot of pictures, videos that I want to make sure I process. So it's just me doing my thing. Like if I was, it's kind of like the things that I do on my computer sometimes when I really don't really have anything planned to do as far as like a live stream. So I'm just live streaming and see what people think. So this is a GoPro. I've got quite a couple, and I've got 4 batteries. So if I'm gonna go, that's the thing. I think I may have to, whenever I go to the magnetic North Pole, 2 GoPros in case one goes down. I have housing, waterproof housing. Those are going to be important. 4 batteries, 2 batteries for each one. They don't last long. The batteries do not last long. That's what I hate. I could always bring my cell phone. I don't like being tracked, so probably not a good idea. So I may not do that. This needs to be charged. I was thinking about, I'll need some power source if I want to recharge something. So I'm debating about whether I get a solar charger, but that might be more hassle than it's worth, right? Because I'll be stopping and resting, and to have something charging through solar while I'm walking, I don't think that's gonna be a good idea. Although I think I don't know, it's gonna be weird because the plan is when I'm actually going on this oh, I got connected the other way. That's right. So when I go on this track, if I'm walking, hiking, wherever it is through, like I don't sleep much, but I think I'm gonna sleep a long time. Like I typically get 4 hours of sleep, but my muscles might need rest, especially since I'm older. So I'm thinking, how did I open this? I've become dumber for some reason. I can pop up something. Oh yeah, I gotta turn it on. Sorry, I think maybe I'm not just dumber, I'm just distracted. So in the cold, you don't want to walk too much. So because I don't want to start sweating, and I am a prolific sweater. I sweat like crazy. And with the gear that I'm taking, and I've got to make a list. Oh, volume check. All right, that should be better. Sorry. It's my phantom power for the mic. I don't know why it does that. But every time I unplug and plug it back on, it seems to work. Hi, Christian. How's it going? Hey, Nash. So let's see. That's on. It's connected. And let's start the transfer. Where is it? Huh. Is it just the zoom that I'm showing? Or is it showing more? Oh, just the zoom. So that's good. MTP device. Why isn't that showing? Come on. I think I gotta turn it on, that's why. Oh, I took the battery out, that's why. Seriously, I'm a blockhead. By the way, thanks Nash for letting me know about the volume. I should make sure I do the volume check because of the issues I have with the phantom power. Alright, here we go. I think, sorry for all the DT-toots. USB connected. There we go. Hero 6 Black connected. Man, they have so many updates to the thing. All right. Really? Import file, so that won't take very long. And the next thing I want to do is upload from my phone. So we had like 6 to 9 inches of snow today from last night to this morning. A lot of the time was shoveling snow, but I shovel snow. The first time it snowed, it was about 4 inches, and I made a big old hill for my daughter to slide down. But this time, I connected that hill to other mounds and built a very, very interesting snow fort. And if you guys remember my snow fort back in Somerville, Massachusetts, well, there's going to be a new snow fort, although it kind of fell apart. This new snow fort, but I'm planning to fix it back up when my daughter is in school tomorrow. All right, let's see. Sorry for eating again. This is going to be an informal thing, but people want to come in and talk. Feel free to. And I'll show pictures, I'll show videos. I'm going to be doing some video editing while I'm doing this. I'm going to be writing some stuff down. Because that thing is taking some time. Let me go ahead and work on some stuff. And I'll go ahead and show the desktop. Except, yeah. So I'm uploading something, the interview, to my secondary YouTube. But while that's going on, I'll go ahead and work on a couple things. Yeah, let's use Excel. Let's do North Pole prep. So there's this that I'm going to kind of write about, and these are the items. I've been thinking about the items, and I'm going to have to measure the weight in pounds because I need to figure out, well, how much is it going to all weigh? What can I winnow down? Some things are pretty simple, and if anyone's got ideas, please let me know so I can go ahead and add them in. For example, backpack is definitely going to be needed. GoPros 2. I'm not going to include the battery charger, but I may have to. GoPro spare batteries. And the GoPros, what I like is they're small, so they're not gonna they're not gonna weigh very much. Oh man. I know you guys can't see this. Hold on, let me go ahead and zoom. Hey, Max Waller. Whoa, what? You're using Max Waller and not Air Force Max? What in the world is going on? All right. And then my Nikon, what, D7100. I think I'm gonna take, I really don't want to take it. Oh man. I think I'm just gonna take one lens. And it's gonna be with, I think it's the 70 to 300 millimeter lens. That's the biggest lens, most zoom. And it's gonna be the heaviest lens I got too. But I'm gonna need spare battery. And if I'm gonna take pictures, well, I don't think I'm gonna need a flash. So I think just the spare batteries. And I've got at least two spare batteries. Nikon spare batteries 2. And I think I'm gonna do essential. You know what? I'd say essentials, but I think everything's gonna be essential. Combat knife, combat/survival knife. And just because it's light, I'm probably gonna go with the K-bar. Or do I want to take a fire ignition? I think I'm gonna take a gas lighter, electric lighter, some wooden matchsticks, wooden matches, and then flint. Yeah, am I gonna take? I mean, not because with the gas lighter. The rod. All right. Hi, Christian. How's it going? Sorry, I'm just doing some just digital house cleaning, digital upkeep. I've got stuff that's I got a lot of videos, fishing videos, stuff that I want to put up there. I got stuff for my phone, so that's all I'm doing. So nothing special, but hey, if you want it, thanks for keeping me company.
Yeah, no problem, man. Hey, that's always good to do. Cleaning stuff out, reorganizing,
Yeah.
useless videos, useless things. Yeah, man.
Good thing about the lighters and matches and flint, they're pretty light. Waterproof containers. I think I've got the waterproof containers. I mean, I think I'm gonna do the double with the Ziploc bag within a Ziploc bag, and then within those things where you just roll up.
Yeah.
So if it gets, gotta get hit those in there. I just don't know the name of it. Definitely 2 sets of boots, 2 sets of clothes. The thing is, I got just in layers. You know, this is gonna be heavy. I'll do the clothes later, but I was thinking of taking because when I go fishing, I wear these. It's a lighter version. coveralls. I don't know why I can't remember things tonight. I was thinking of bringing that just in case I do fall into like ice water, cold water. You know, if I don't fall all the way in, you know, catch myself on chest, at least I'll still be dry. I think that makes for it.
Yeah, almost like a raincoat. I'm guessing is what you're suggesting.
It's like a. I mean, it's from your feet all the way up to your chest, and you have these two straps. I forget what you call them. I've got like.
Oh, is it made of rubber?
Yeah, or synthetic material that's waterproof. And one of the ones that I have that's lighter. You don't sweat as much through it, but it's not really. It doesn't keep you warm during cold weather. But it's just gonna be an outer layer, anyways. Outer. I'll have an outer layer over it, but so I'll have layers to keep me warm. I was thinking of a gun, but not a lot of ammo. I mean, the gun itself will be heavy, even though it's 9mm, and it'll be good. So my Ruger SR9C. That's what I have. It's compact.
I mean, what kind of dangerous wildlife are you bound to run into up there?
Probably the most would be polar bears, grizzly bears up to polar bears. I mean, 9mm, depending on the ammo, and well-placed vital area shots will be enough. But I'm hoping I don't have to shoot at it. I just shoot a round, and or any Arctic wolves or something like that. I could just shoot and they'll just run away. I don't have to actually aim to kill with two 217 mags. And the thing is, I gotta weigh all these at the end too.
Yeah,
but
I would say
ammo. I don't really want to. The thing is with these, I don't know if I like. Oh yeah, fishing pole. I think I'm gonna use. I think. I don't know whether I should just use my rod. I think I'll just use my rod and reel. Fishing gear, rod and reel, and then fishing gear, tackle, and fly/bait. Just a small amount. The thing about the fishing gear. Do I take my chances and just take one, or do I take two? I think I'll do hip waders. Thank you, Nathan. Hip waders.
Waders. I'd say take two of everything at least.
I have a lightweight Cabela's. I'll probably take. I don't know if I should do a small tent. I don't have a small tent. Oh, Nash, give me a second. Ah, no, you guys, stop the screen. There you go. Sorry. I might have shown your name, number, Nash. Sorry about that. All right, here we go.
Hey, you got it.
Yeah, but I might have shown it for just a second. Yeah, 51 items. Holy smokes.
Hey, Nash.
Small tent, sleeping bag. You know, I'm wondering about whether I should bring a tent or a sleeping bag at all. If I should figure out just to find ways to. And then, do I bring a pot? Well, I'm gonna need a drinking container. I think that'll be. I have a guy canteen. I can put it on my belt, easier access. I think I might need 2.
Yeah. If you think you might need 2, take 2.
Those get heavy, especially water is heavy. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna bring a drinking canteen drinking canteen, and I have one of those the survival straws.
Okay. Now, what are you gonna do when you have to take a shit over there? Are you just gonna?
I'm gonna hold it in. No, I'm just kidding. I just have to find something in the wild to wipe it off with. I'm not gonna carry around a paper roll, a toilet roll.
Toilet paper, yeah.
That reminds me of a joke. So there's a bear in the woods, and he says to the bunny, "Do you have a problem with shit sticking to your fur?" So the bear wiped his ass with the rabbit. Sorry, that was bad.
No, it's okay. It's all good. You know, this right here. The thing is, I'm gonna probably do a. Because I feel at a certain point, the metal stuff. I feel like there's a magnetic checkpoint.
Okay.
I think I'll do a new tab. Come on. All right, rename checkpoint. So, for example, I don't know what this is zoomed in as. Yeah, you guys don't need to see that. Items and weight. The thing is, I think when I reach a magnetic checkpoint, I'm going to drop all the things that are metal. Because they may just be useless anyway. So I have to use something, dig something up, or place all the items somewhere. Pick them back up on the way back. Because they may be more of a burden than anything else. I think one of the things I've seen is like I don't know. I think I like optional hatchet. Those things are heavy, and an optional.
Maybe a Bowie knife
is a small shovel. And I have a Bowie knife. I think the survival combat knife, the key bar, is more than enough. Something too big, I won't be able to use it for skinning or gutting fish or whatever. But if it's too small, I can't really use it as a weapon either. So it's like, I think that's like the best in between knife in a way. The K bar made out of solid material too. I don't think a small shovel is going to be necessary, but the thing is, I don't know how I'm going to dig all my stuff up to put all the items away. And what I'm going to do here is just make it easy. It's like if it's metal, I'll just make... I may just copy it. Like I'll have to... it's flint? No, what? Like Would that be
That's a big idea.
something magnetic? That we'll see. Fishing tackle, man, that'd be hard. I wouldn't be able to fish. That would be most of my stuff.
Maybe get some plastic equipment.
Plastic reel? I think they have those. Maybe.
You get a plastic gun too,
No.
if you need it.
No.
When I mean plastic gun, I don't mean a toy gun. I mean like a gun, a functioning weapon that's just made of plastic instead of metal.
Is that how the
Maybe
3D printers work? How do these 3D printers work? Like, what materials do you have to bring into your house to actually?
plastic.
It's all plastic.
Yeah. I thought that just get started on that little list. There's gonna be. I know there's tons more, but I just can't. Like, whenever I think on top of my head, I have it, but then I just kind of forget about it. That's why I think I need to just keep working on this list. And how are we here? But man,
That's your honeydew. That's your honeydew list.
kinda. Like I really hope. I really hope I don't lose this because this stuff is expensive. My video camera equipment, my photography equipment, my survival knife, electric lighter, handgun with ammo, fishing gear, all that stuff is expensive. But if it's gonna be worthless and if there's like a very magnetic area, then I'm gonna lose those anyway, right? Drinking canteen. Here's where it gets tough. That's metal. Very magnetic. But I will still have my survival water straw. Oh man, really? Why is it doing this? All right.
Yeah, the straw's a pretty good investment. It's cheap. $10 you can get a survival straw type thing.
Yeah, there's a lot that I got when they were on like super cheap sales, so I've got those. All right. My Hero 6 stuff is complete, so I can kind of work on that. But I'll work on that later. Import complete. Delete all. Yes. Whew. I have a lot of fishing videos to make.
Videos. Okay.
Yeah, I've probably got. I could probably make like at least 30 fishing videos. But I mean, most of the stuff is like places I've fished before. No point, but it's just a different type of different day, different weather. So that might help. Like the latest fishing video that I was thinking about making a video of was ice fishing for trout. And that was really easy. And so I was probably going to just make a video of that.
Nice. Do you grow any fruit trees? Do you have a garden or do any of that stuff as well, or do you?
Yeah. So I mean, we just. Oh no. Okay. We just got here. But we've got a lemon tree on our bedroom right now. In the summertime, we're going to take it outside, and that's starting to have. You can see the small lemons that'll probably end up being grown. They'll probably be small this year, but hopefully they'll get bigger and it survives. We got 2 apple trees. One's a mutsu and the other is something else. I forgot. My wife got it, but you have to have two different types of apple trees to.
Oh,
so they'll.
sure.
Yeah. a peach tree in the backyard, and then we've got 2 plots of gardening space and a what is that? Compost area. So that's it for now.
Wow.
It's not that much, but it's getting there.
Very, I'm impressed. Good stuff, man.
Yeah.
Good stuff, Evan. Nice.
What about you? Do you have stuff like that?
I don't have the land really to do that stuff, but I do have a dwarf lemon tree, and it's annual too. So not like
Nice. They seem pretty easy to keep. They don't seem to die very much. I would think lemon trees would be. You need someplace hot and humid with a lot of sun. Uh-oh, where'd Christian go? Do you think that's true? Hello?
Hello?
You're saying something?
No. You said Christian logged out.
Yeah. Something happened. All right. So there's gonna be a new one. Hold on. What am I doing this? Awakening. And I'll go into desktop. Upload is still not done. All right, so awakening. So I'm gonna create just kind of another Excel doc. Series list. I haven't even come up with a title yet. Series title. Not yet. Series title. Ideas. So I guess I'll come up with the series title here. And well, that goes all the way down. Right. And series episodes. The one thing about this is I think I'm gonna be using like stuff that's like film, like I'll probably like snippets of videos that'll probably get copy striked a lot. So I have a feeling I'll do videos on YouTube saying, hey, if you want to see this, go to this link, and it's going to be primarily on DLive. Well, everywhere else. Periscope isn't too bad. I would usually think Periscope would be pretty big because they're Twitter for censoring and copywriting, but they don't seem to do that. So we'll see. Okay. What's funny is I had this all planned out, and now my thoughts are just blank right now. Man, so that's how I'll name it. And there we go. Episode 1. I don't know. What was your state of awakening, Nash? What kind of woke you up to everything? What was the catalyst?
It was probably around 2007. I think when that financial shit happened, and the first thing I saw was loose change. Loose change, like made me, wake up.
Yeah.
I don't know. Whenever that came out, whenever the first loose change came out, I was like, wow. I always knew things were fucked up,
Yeah.
I grew up with, but I never connected the dots or went down rabbit holes, I just, I had an attitude like my parents, my parents are like, politicians are full of shit. They're all assholes. End of story.
Mm-hmm.
And, then you like, wow, you see how truly evil people can be,
Yeah.
and then Satan's real.
I think it might be the awareness factor that I'll put in the first episode. I've been thinking about it. It's like awareness factors. I don't know.
What woke you up? What got you started on this path that you're on?
Well, that's the thing. I think this is the it's probably a bad title. Let me do a thing real quick. Really? Gosh.
Because I have a spoiler alert.
What is that?
Every rabbit hole you go down, you're gonna find Satan. At the end of every rabbit hole you go down, there he is.
There's gonna be who?
Satan.
I
don't care. If you're going down the rabbit hole of the Federal Reserve or you're going down the rabbit hole of Hollywood. It doesn't matter where you go. It's the devil right there. That's your spoiler alert.
I think here's my first one. Shoot. Come on. That's what I hate about Excel. Things are bad and keep getting worse. Things in this world are bad and keep getting worse. I think that's like the main thing. Is they keep the world like the world itself, not like your personal life, just the world in general. Are bad and keep getting worse. You'll notice the hypocrisy of the elite, I guess. Like the ones who tell you to do something, they always end up doing it themselves, but you're supposed to look into them. One of the funny ones I always think is, those books about how to save your marriage. Have you ever seen those books, Nash?
Absolutely, yeah.
And then the author ends up being like divorced 4 times or something like that. It's like, why are you getting reading a book on how to save your marriage from someone who's been divorced 4 times? It's like, this is like the worst author to read stuff from. Anyways.
Yeah, well, they love their wordplay. I mean, I like how they use entitlement. Like they throw that. People they're the ones who are entitled. They have entitlement, but they throw it right back at you. Their wordplay is insane. They call you what they are themselves. Like that type of psycho babble warfare. Like, what do you mean entitlement? If I put in my money, you take it out of my check every week, I'm entitled to get it back?
Yeah.
What do you mean it's an entitlement? That's horrible language. I don't understand that. How am I entitled to get my own shit back that I just worked for? What the fuck? You guys are entitled.
So I also noticed the more you do your own research, the more you realize what the more you realize the lies have been propagated. I think that's pretty straightforward, I'd say. I think within the same episode, I'm gonna put. People can't see that, can they? Let's go ahead and move that over. It's like if you don't do your own research, really, I think you're never gonna find the truth. That's just what I notice.
And it's also kind of futile. It's a tough one, Evan. It's really tough, because I don't know. Sometimes I wish I never woke up.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Okay. The thing is, there's awareness factors, and then there's the I don't know. It's warnings. And this is all gonna be in episode 1. So things that bring you to awakening, and things that you're gonna, before you go down this path. It's a one-way path. Once you wake up,
giving you the spoiler alert.
Yeah. Spoilers.
No matter what rabbit hole you go down, you're gonna find Satan. Let's go.
I don't know about that. You just
how you get there?
I don't know about that part yet, Nash.
Yeah, well, you will.
Well, something is definitely
every rabbit hole, and you can quote me. I'm saying it live on your show. I'm saying every rabbit hole at the bottom is Satan. That's what you're gonna find. What path you get there? That's it's your journey.
Yeah. Okay, so it's a one-way path. Once you wake up, there's no going back to sleep.
You can't. It's the truth. You can't. Like you used to go. You can't see a movie the same way ever again once you're awake. You can't anything. All the programming that you've been. Once you wake up and snap out of it, you're like, wow. You'll never ever have entertainment or enjoy music or anything the same way again.
Yeah, you do have to kind of forget about certain things if you want to enjoy anything. All right, so it's also a lonely path. None of your family members will see things the same way as you, but some may understand. That will be about it.
Yeah, well, that depends on the family. My God.
But yeah, this is just something I've noticed that, and I've said it many times before. Like, you would think that people who are as close to you genetically as possible might see or think the same way, but they won't. And it makes you wonder, because it makes you wonder about reality, which is another rabbit hole.
Right on. Yeah, we did talk about this the other night, and I was like environment versus heredity. Like that type of
nature
thing. Your
versus
DNA
nurture.
yeah, I mean, it's across the board, man. It's across the board.
All right, let me see. I can transfer stuff. Oh yeah, I could just go. Oh, there we go. Yeah, I think I'll focus on this. Well, actually, I kind of want to do some picture stuff. I'll worry about that later since I have to go ahead and transfer them over one by one. And it will depend on... no, that's not pictures. It's going to be on my phone. Let's do these first. So what's another warning? Spoiler, I guess. It's a one-way path. It's a lonely path. But it's I mean, it's... Oh! You will find other people on you will find others on the same path/journey. You do. We find each other for some reason, don't we?
Well, we're together right now, aren't we?
Yeah, I guess that is true.
I'm beside myself with many questions about many things that will never be answered, and I kind of like that. There was a phrase someone said. It's better to have questions and no answers than to have answers without questions.
No, you said it wrong. I'm the one who keeps bringing that one up. Richard Feynman, his quote is, "I would rather have questions that can't be answered than answers that can't be questioned."
Ah, well, I stink.
No, that was good. That was close. You got the gist of the meaning. That's all that matters.
Yeah, that's all that matters. And yeah, you should hear me sing at karaoke. I butcher every song. I can't sing lyrics for shit. I get all of them.
Don't worry, I'm the same way with song lyrics.
That's not the lyrics, Nash. That's not what they're saying. Like, oh, I just make up my own shit. But you know what? Yeah. So, I think it's good to question everything.
Yeah.
Every little thing.
Let's see. All right, transferring on the phone.
I mean, don't be a dick about it. Like, why'd you put the groceries in the freezer that way? That's, don't be, stop.
Oh, so that reminds me. Yeah. It's kind of along with the lonely path. Actually, those not on the same path journey will shame or ridicule you, don't they? For even questioning.
I don't know. I mean, that's kind of like a shame and ridicule. I mean, you kind of allow it to happen.
We do?
And at the same time, these people that are in power can do these things. Absolutely, they can show up at your doorstep, put you in the paper, and make you look like a demon.
Yes. But they're not the ones that. Well, I guess they do. They do shame and ridicule. Oh. You will encounter. That's a good one. Agents.
Uh-oh. There we go. Agent Nash reporting for duty.
Agent Nash.
Yep. Where are we going? What country are we invading this week?
It's hard to tell. Hey, you might be. So basically, they will have no name and no face.
Secret
And if
agent,
they
man.
truly are an agent, they will try to bring or take you back to some form of control system. So to try to take you back in.
Usurpers.
Is that what they're called?
Inf-
Another term for them?
Infiltrate and take over.
Oh yeah, for a second. You don't have to.
Yeah, it's like all the people protesting in the street. Infiltrate the protest. You know, get your fucking what are they called? Oh God.
Controlled opposition.
Agent provocateurs.
Oh, agent provocateur.
Agent provocateurs.
Wait, for a second, companion, don't worry. You can come on in and tell a story. This is very informal. Anything goes. I hope Christian is able to come back on. I think his phone might have died.
Yeah, I was hoping he'd come back too. So
all right.
I wouldn't have talked.
Okay, so
I'm shy, man.
I doubt that, Nash. So I think that's a good first episode, right? No, it's just I'm just brainstorming right now for a second. I'm not really. This stuff is important. Like I was gonna process some pictures as well. Okay, she'll be on in a couple of minutes. So this is
have you ever considered making a documentary or like?
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm making a series documentaries.
Yeah, like
this is the slide that I made. All snow. My daughter would go really far.
You're storyboarding the whole thing. It's on the wall. You can, this is scene one. This is, you're.
Yeah.
You're thorough, man.
I'm gonna. So.
I'm impressed with you. Ebon. You're a bright young man.
I'm not young anymore. Here's the size of the new. You can't see it. You'll see it on your YouTube or whatever. But this is the size of the snow fort we're making here. So I snow shoveled all of this and dug in. We're at halfway done, but I have to fix a small fall. I dug too close, and then there's my kids. They're inside the snow fort. They really like being in there.
Nice. How old are the kids now?
5 and 1.5. Like,
wow. Yeah. Oh, that's the fun age, the magical years.
Yeah. I enjoy it. I like spending time with them. All right, nice. So episode 2. Oh man, it's just, here's the thing. The series, this idea of the documentary, I mean, it'll be anywhere from 5 to 15 minutes, maybe even 30 minutes per episode. It's hard to order everything. These things can go anywhere. I think it probably all starts with the control system that you most, I don't know what you would call it, that you most liked, maybe? I don't know. Not liked, but thought if you thought you could change, maybe that's a better term. For example, for me, it started with government, politics, right? I thought we could change that, we could change everything else. But then when you realize that you can't change anything of it, that's probably all fake or control.
Well, we can't change
Like it's unverifiable.
This is what I was telling Ryan the other night. I mean, to me, the bankers run it. You can't change the bankers.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care. George Carlin said the shit they shuffle around every 4 years, don't mean a damn thing. Who really is pulling the strings? Do governments allow banks or do banks allow governments? And I will always say the bankers run it all. All. Governments, countries, Hollywood, the whole shebang.
Money/bank money. Bankers.
Intelligence agencies, military, bankers run it all.
Yeah. Religion.
Everything. Every single thing.
Information. And I think there's another one. Didn't I do 5 before? Why do I always forget the 5th one?
So have you been following like cryptocurrency, any of that? Like JP Morgan, how Jamie Dimon, condemned cryptos, and yet JP Morgan just came out and started the first American cryptocurrency. These people are full of shit.
Yeah, they like saying one thing and doing the exact opposite, don't they?
Right. They tell the public, don't buy gold. And they were probably right, because if you bought gold, you lost your ass.
Yeah, well, if you bought gold at the right time. But that's just about anything. They want you to buy when they're selling. They want you to sell when they're buying.
Yeah, and they got caught back in the day. They were telling people about, the subprime, that whole entire fucking scam. They were telling people when they knew. But no one lost their job. No one went to jail. Business as usual.
So here's my thing. Here's one of my bullet points. So it all starts with the system you most think you can make changes in order for change to occur. So if you're in the government, you think, hey, you change government, that'll change everything. Or if you're in religion, the more you believe in an external God controlled by a religious person that's like a multi-million or billionaire or something like that. I don't think that's the more you pray or something like that. I don't think that's gonna work either.
No, I mean for a bunch of awake guys, we're still talking about the same problem without addressing the fucking elephant in the room. The elephant in the room is the money.
Yeah. Well, the money. Here's the bankers. The thing is, also that's another factor. You think you can change everything with the money that you have, or taking down the money system or whatever? That's still a method of control, and you can't get away from it, no matter how hard you try. The more money you make to try and make changes for the better, the more probably you'll probably see that. Hey, they control the money. They at any time they could take my money away. So there goes that. You're gonna wake up by really going into any of these control systems and trying to make things better.
Let's talk about that. Let's. What is money if it can be taken away from you? If it can be taken away from you, then where do you stand? This is my complaint about property taxes, because it's just the government's way of leveraging you.
Mm-hmm.
You never own your house. If I can take your money away from you, are you a slave?
Mm-hmm.
We have a big problem here, and no one wants to talk about these issues, but we can talk about flat Earth until our fucking balls fall off.
We could talk about anything. I talk about anything and everything. I'll talk about money and the bankers. I mean, they can print. They can print whatever they want, however much they want, and that's when I see a lot of these conspiracy theorists where they say, hey, what's that term? You know, why would they do it? They go, it's for money. It's like, no. These people who control everything, they can print whatever money that they want. They don't need to necessarily do it for money. And then the next thing might be like power or something. Okay, for a second. Hey, for a second, how's it going?
Right. Well, there's a lot going on because obviously they already have all the money in the world. It's theirs. We use their money. It's theirs. They own it.
Mm-hmm.
We're just using it. We're just people out in the field. Here's this piece of paper, guys. Give us your gold.
Hey,
Hello?
for a second.
Is that Forsaken in the house? Yay!
Hey, Bon. Hey, Nash.
Hey, long time
How you
no
doing?
listen. You haven't heard from you in a while.
I know. Well, I pop around once in a while, but usually I'm either on the phone or asleep or something when,
Mhm. Just coincidentally, this is like the third time in a row I've looked at the clock on my desktop and it was 11:11 p.m. I mean, I just glanced at it to see the time and it's always 11:11. That's a weird sign.
You're supposed to make a wish.
I know my wife says that. But there's also an esoteric thing with 11:11 as well. But there's so many things. All right, go ahead. Tell us your story.
Okay, so, and Eric and Cheryl will love this because they're always talking about fake news. Um, so yesterday I was on Twitter, and of course Bernie declared, yay. And So I was on there, and I saw something about it had Pence's, put in this awkward position when nobody claps at the Munich conference for when he brings greetings from Trump, something like that. So I can't play Twitter videos. And that happened like last year or maybe sometime the year before. That suddenly wouldn't work with my browser, and a lot of people were having that because they changed the system. So unless it's a link to a YouTube video, I can't watch it. So I went on YouTube and looked up a video on that just because it sounded kind of funny and interesting. And what I found was like a 3.5 minute clip from CNN Wolf Blitzer's show. And so I played that. And he had two clips of Pence at Munich. And just to lead in, I think Trump is a complete moron, and I think he's a dangerous moron, and Pence makes my skin crawl. But so I watched this, and they had a clip where Pence is um, saying, and I bring greetings from the 45th president, and there's silence. And then they had another clip that had him, an excerpt from a speech, another from, I thought, the same speech, but where he was talking about Iran and how now is the time for, this to get done. Now is the time for that. And now is the time for our allies to all withdraw from the Iran agreement. And there's dead silence. And except I noticed a few odd things about that. First of all, the first thing I noticed was that he was wearing a blue tie in one and a red tie in the other. So I looked, and it turned out it was two separate speeches, both at the conference, but they didn't bother saying that. So, that was not a big deal. But the other thing I noticed is on the Iran thing, can you hear me? Well,
Mm-hmm.
okay. So on
Loud and clear.
so I checked it out, and I found a thing of the whole speech, and I'm not finding anything of the blue tie thing or that. So I watched part of that. Then I noticed it had the C-SPAN logo in the back on the clip. So I went right to C-SPAN and looked, and there I saw, okay, there was the clip of the Trump speech, and indeed nobody really clapped after he said it. And then there was the Iran thing. And the funny thing I had noticed in the clip is that right after he said it, there's this little sound that almost sounds like people clapping, but it's only like a split second, right? And then it shows him like moving his head in an odd way, and like a double take kind of thing, and then silence, and then he starts speaking again. And the other thing is, I looked for somebody else who had these clips, and it was TYT had them too, and they're all sitting there gloating about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so but I noticed, yeah, that funny thing, like there's just that little sound that almost sounded like people applauding, but cut right off. And also that the video itself that CNN was showing was very, very low quality. And I noticed the C-SPAN one was like super clear. Now, if anybody could afford to actually pay rights to get the actual speech and have it a good quality, it would be CNN. And yet here it is looking like something that's been recoded and recoded and recoded to where, Pence, who is kind of gross looking to begin with, ends up looking like a white-faced ghost with just features drawn in. It's
Mm-hmm.
that
Pence,
quality.
he reminds me of Joe Biden in so many ways. I mean, and I'm glad you're bringing attention to Pence, because he's so under the radar. No one pays attention to
Pence terrifies
at all.
me, but that's not the point. The thing is, I noticed this thing looked odd. So I found the part on the original CN. I listened to most of the speech, which actually was pretty horrific, and it when it got
I
to
was
the
giving
part
you kudos.
huh?
I was
What,
giving
Nash?
you kudos. I
Oh,
was giving you kudos.
thank you.
So are you saying that that the video was edited and
It was.
aired live? They aired live the edited tape. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised about
Yeah,
that.
on Blitzer's show, at least. Where else it might be shown, I don't know, other than TYT also put it up. But when I watched the original, not only was it crystal clear, but when he gets done speaking, there's applause. It's not heavy, major, enthusiastic applause, but there's applause. And there was none on there. There was no double take head shake, where he moves his head in an odd way. And the next thing he says was completely different than what he said on the clip. So I'm not even sure where they got the next sentence from, because I didn't feel like going through the whole thing again looking for that sentence, but it wasn't what he actually said in the speech next. So they basically took a clip and they just edited it to get the effect they wanted.
Like no one was caring or something about what he says. Wow.
Yep, like nobody acknowledged it, nobody applauded, no one there agreed with it. I mean, I don't agree with everybody withdrawing from it, but they tried to make it sound like absolutely nobody there applauded or anything. It was very sloppy editing, though. But I was really proud of my little bit of detective work. By watching the original speech, it's completely different.
Yeah.
It doesn't have this little odd head movement. It goes into a totally different line, and there is applause.
The thing is, they don't expect. That's why I think they do things so sloppily. They don't expect people to look into it, because once you look into it, you're gonna find out the truth anyway. But then you're not really gonna convince anybody else that aren't looking into it themselves anyway. Like if he showed it to us, we'd be like, oh yeah, they do that all the time. That's another one to add to the list, right? To archive for later of the stuff that they do. But then you show anyone that watches CNN, the Fox, or anyone who watches the mainstream and follows this whole stuff, and you tell them about that, you're like, yeah, who cares?
I know. Well, all the comments on the video were people, just accepting it, and nobody's even noticing that odd little sound. Nobody's even noticing, that the video is just so badly that it's obviously been edited because of the quality of it.
Mm-hmm.
And you put it on TV and most people aren't going to pay attention. They're just going to accept it,
Mm-hmm.
that this is what happened and what was said. And most of those people also won't take the time, even if you tell them, like, go look at this, go look at the original thing. They're not going to take the time to do that.
Yeah. And sound editing is really easy, just to dampen or even mute out the sound or drown out certain noises. So
I mean, I've edited plenty of videos, just for my own thing, just to edit them, and I mean, not, and it doesn't take that much to do it,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, I mean, you can sound edit them. You can remove sound from. There's all these programs out there that remove the sound from a video, so you just get the video, and then you can
Yep.
put it back on or put something else on there. And
Yeah. Like the editors know like when someone's talking or it's like non-ambient noise or something like that, and they do a pretty good job of filtering out noises. It's and technology only gets better, and it gets easier to trick people. It's like watching a magic show from the 50s, 60s, 70s to like the magic tricks that they do now. Like it's a whole new different beast,
Yep. Well, I was just like really proud of my detective work there, because not that, and it wasn't that, that hard. It just
Mm-hmm.
it just amazed me. Everybody was just accepting it.
Why don't you make a video of that? How it's edited?
Well, for one thing, because I can't download from C-SPAN. You have to pay to download from it.
You can just do an OBS recording. Just play it back on a browser and record the browser. That's what I usually do. And they have certain things, like if it's not like really high quality in the first place, get something like FreeMake. It'll take a while to download, but it's free, and you could download like YouTube videos or embedded videos. Oh, also another thing, if you right click on the if you're on the video page, the page that has the video embedded into the website on C-SPAN, if you go in and view source, just look for the title of the video, because it's going to be embedded somewhere. And if you type in that URL, you'll go directly to it. And most of the time, you can actually download from you can use FreeMake too. You can use other programs. Sometimes you can even right click and save that video that was embedded, because you're at that direct URL where the video resides in. So
yeah, I've done that with some things, but a lot of sites, I'm not sure about C-SPAN, they tend to try and hide that.
Yeah. But the easiest thing, if you don't want to work with all that stuff, is just get OBS. Set your source to the browser, or like sometimes like a window capture, and just put it full screen, play it back, and you can always edit it later to cut out the parts where it's showing the browser and all the other stuff.
Yeah, although what I really want is people to go and look at the original, because otherwise they'll be saying I edited it,
Yeah, that's why it's important that everyone who's investigating, they go to the source. Always go to the source. And that's another thing that that I realized early on, is that whenever I looked at a mainstream article, their source was just another article to themselves. Or another article, or another video made from some other affiliate, but like the same version of that.
It's funny how like Fox News will quote the Wall Street Journal, but they're both owned by the same person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep, they're both Murdoch.
And they always show just that clip, the edited clip. So you have to do a little bit of searching. In C-SPAN, they do a lot of things live. They do live streaming, and that's where I usually watch a lot of the stuff that the politics do. Like once I kind of got out of the whole politics thing, like watching MSN, Fox, or whatever, I went straight to C-SPAN, and they do a lot of things where it's boring, but it's like 24/7 of just people like congressmen and like the VP or president just talking. So
yep, they'll show whole sessions of Congress, and
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's where all the mainstream media get all their clips from anyway. But the thing is, if you show a C-SPAN clip on your own video, they're very quick to copyright strike you.
Yeah, so I guess the thing would be, if I even did do anything, make a throwaway account.
Yeah, or embed the actual video, play it back slightly, or like try to hide the C-SPAN logo, or like blur it out or something, and make the size different than it's the full screen size. Like add in like a couple of like just images or whatever, just so it's just harder for the algorithm to really pinpoint like a video matches another, a video snippet matches another video snippet. It's crazy because before, maybe back in 2004, where they can put they could put videos within a database, and then you can match that video to a specific like a specific point, and that would just take a lot of processing power and a lot of storage space. But man, you know how much storage space and processing power these entities have? I mean, it's crazy. So yeah, the algorithms can use like so many. It's just unfathomable how much power that they have. The like resources, computer resources, to use in order to find any similar content within someone's video, especially like YouTube. So you have to just kind of get tricky. People just find ways around it. Like if you watch The Outer Light, Esoteric Ed, what he usually does is he plays it back slower or faster. I forget what, but just slightly. And they really
He plays music a lot too.
yeah, and he so it's really hard for the algorithm to really catch it. They'd have to know, someone would have to follow him manually and do copyright strike otherwise.
Right, and aren't you? What? How long a clip are that are you allowed before just for fair use? Or
Well, it shouldn't matter. YouTube has a different idea of fair use. Like fair use, it could be as long as you want.
well, I mean by
As long as you're following certain rules, like it's an educational thing. Like you're showing people, here's a snippet from this scene, and we're gonna go in depth and talk about it and how it, does this. It goes through this type of artistic method or whatever. Or, any type of analysis, content, whatever, anything that's commenting. It should be fair use, and you're not making any money off of it. But the thing is, YouTube's different. They'll just say, hey, it's you're copywriting something, and they can either take it down or they monetize it for the person that owns the copyright. And most of the time, like a lot of my videos was that, like, I like the content. If they get the money for the content, that's fine with me. And it's like I get like no money out of it anyways, so they're not gonna get any money out of it anyways. And what ends up happening, sometimes they'll go, oh, I don't like the video that you made, and instead of trying to make money from it, we're just gonna prevent you from live streaming for 6 months.
which is why you make a throwaway account.
Yeah, or I live stream everywhere and a second YouTube account.
Yeah, I mean, there's always the thing of going on another platform and doing something. It's just whether I feel up to it. I have not been feeling well,
Oh,
and I don't know what's going on, but I have to see a rheumatologist. It might be RA, rheumatoid arthritis, and
Wow.
we've been trying to figure out for a year what's going on, but that seems to be whether that has to do with the first thing that went wrong or whether that's a separate thing. I don't know, but yeah, I've been feeling pretty a lot of the time.
Where is? Did you say that, or did I miss?
What did I say? What?
Where is your discomfort?
Mostly in my hands. But there's just been a lot of fatigue too, and besides the pain in my hands, I mean, I've been taking ibuprofen, which I really don't like to take. I've also been doing like turmeric and pepper tea and stuff and that, but
I know. I swear. I have a lot of inflammation as well. I take turmeric. It doesn't do shit. It doesn't help at all.
Yeah, it hasn't helped much. I mean, I wanna change my diet too. I mean, there was like I ate pretty healthy, and then for like 3 years I was eating horribly after my mom died and all this other stuff was going on, and I just started eating really badly, and that can affect things
I
too.
see.
Because one of the first things they found was my blood sugar's up a little bit. I've always had really good blood sugar, and it's actually up in like pre-diabetic.
Hmm.
So, trying to get that back down, and so
You could also try hemp CBD oil. I heard that's kind of like the
There
thing.
you go, Evan. Yes.
What? It's worth a try. I've tried it. The stuff that I had, it actually went away. But I don't know whether it was because of that or just time, right? But it's worth trying. I think a lot of these alternatives are a lot better than going to the doctor. Doctors.
yeah. Well,
Absolutely. Anything pro marijuana, I'm down with. You guys want it? Your CBD? Hell yeah! All across the board. Why not?
yeah. Well, there's places. I mean, it's expensive though, and
It
even
is
online it's
expensive.
expensive. And locally right now, so far, there's only one place that you can get it, and it's like outrageously expensive. And I mean, it doesn't work for everyone.
Mhm.
And it also depends on the balance. Like there's pure CBD oil, and then there's different balances of CBD and THC, and so that's, I don't know. You need a prescription though, and I don't know.
Yeah,
If,
it's
I don't know if you
expensive.
need one. I don't know if you need one to get it online, but to get it, here, the CBD oil.
You could get it online without a prescription.
Can you? Because I know some places that do sell it.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, even one of the places where I get vape juice, I was selling it. I don't know if they're going to do it regularly. They did a trial of selling it. Um, and
Um,
I don't know how well it's worked for anybody. I did read one thread on Reddit where people were saying, well, it didn't seem to do much of anything for me when they tried it from them. So
yeah, I mean, for me, it didn't do it a lot. I tried a couple of different things, and I mean, I was taking it, and it didn't. I didn't have immediate effects, but then I realized eventually I just stopped taking it, and I stopped. And then whatever the problem was, I think it was my back pain or something, or weird, and yeah, it's gone. Um, Try ordering from Elixinol. Elixinol. I ordered from there the hemp oil and coconut extract with naturally occurring CBD. I mean, it's almost full still. It's like I probably used a sixth of it. Yeah, you didn't need a medication or anything like that to get it.
yeah, reading that.
And
I
the medical marijuana here in Florida is expensive. It'll cost you just medical marijuana, not the CBD stuff. That's all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
You will pay 200 something, maybe 500 every 6 months, and every 6 months you have to go to the doctor and be recertified. And that's just to get your foot in the door. That's just to get your medical marijuana ticket, and then you
Yeah,
have to pay.
Yeah, here it's like every year you have to be recertified. Although I guess there's talk about changing that so you don't have to be recertified. Um, and I mean, if it was a matter of getting weed as opposed to CBD, it's like, yeah, I know there's plenty of street corner pharmacists around here, you know.
Yeah, amen to that. Amen, girl.
I mean,
I'm sorry, government, but you guys are a bunch of douchebags, and sometimes we're just not going to listen to you, and this is one of them.
Plus, a lot of these big places that are doing it, they're growing it with all kinds of chemicals and everything else. So you're not actually even getting pure product. You're getting it with all kinds of.
They lace it in with the bad stuff, just like
Yeah.
everything else. They go, "Hey, this is good. This is you need this, or it's gonna do bad stuff." And so you go, "Okay," and then
You know what what the government does and what they get away with. I don't feel so bad by bending one law. The only thing, if the only thing I did wrong in my life is smoke pot,
yeah,
I can deal with that.
that's something they have no power to legislate, in my opinion. They shouldn't be able to do that. I mean, there's no one that's no one out there. I mean, it harms no one. At most, it'll harm yourself, but the government harms you anyway. They take away stuff from you. So it's
They poison you.
They
They
poison
lie
you,
to
yeah.
you. They
So it's like-
inject you. They tell
So-
you how to live. They take your money. Yeah.
So it's like, hey, I know we're poisoning you, but if you want to cure, you have to buy the cure from us, and it costs this much. It's gonna have side effects. You're not gonna be cured. It's just gonna be temporary. So that way you're made to pay for the next dose. That's how they run things. And people,
I know that's what scares me with this whole RA thing. It's like I was looking at the medications they give for it, and they're all awful. Even the least of them is not good.
Mhm.
And but the thing is, it's not just a matter of stopping the pain, but it's a matter of stopping the damage.
Yeah.
You got it. So you have to get something that totally gets rid of the inflammation and deletes the like the RF factor if you're positive, and that's really hard to do without the medications.
Yeah.
So, but the medications scare the hell out of me. I don't take medications. I take some ibuprofen if I really need it. I mean, that's all I've really taken. Aspirin if I need it, ibuprofen, and maybe, an antacid pill. And,
Yeah.
I don't.
I totally understand. I have to take 3 Advil every morning, and I hate taking pills. I know it's not good. It's not good, but I have to. I'm in that bad of shape, so I can relate. When you're in pain, you're in pain. It sucks.
Yep. And there's just been days when it's so hard, I can't even, I mean, it varies, but there's days it's just so hard. Even picking something up is difficult if it gets really bad, and this just got this bad a few months ago. Started getting this bad, and so I don't know. I don't know what's going on, and I have to see the rheumatologist. But if there's certain medications, if she tries to put me on, I'm just gonna say no.
You're not a smoker, are you?
I have been for a good part of my life. Now I've been vaping instead.
Oh, maybe
for
it's,
about a year.
try stopping your vaping. I'm pretty sure. I mean, if they're able to put stuff within the drugs that they didn't want you to use for years, decades, I'm pretty sure that they've already put stuff in the stuff that's that they've certified. Hey, what's vaping? All right, we'll support it.
Well, they're not supporting it. They're fighting it.
Oh, really?
But yeah, there's a big thing to try, and the was it Attorney General, he's talking about maybe outlining making vaping against the law. They've already in some states made it so that you can't buy flavored vape juice, and even in some place they're because they're saying, oh, the youth, think of the children, because the young people are vaping, but those are the kids who would have been these kids would have been smoking if not vaping.
Yeah.
And and yet for a lot of people it's helped. It's the first thing that's actually worked for most people to help them quit smoking. And because it's like they say, it ticks all the boxes. It's not just the nicotine, it's the whole act of the whole
the motion,
the mouth, and the inhaling, and all that. But I mean, I don't buy it from like some big mega companies. I buy it from online. They're more private companies. Just
yeah. Like,
Yeah, I'm trying to quit cigarettes. I'm dealing with that addiction. I smoke American spirits, and being a smoker is horrible. It's horrible. I wish I never smoked.
I
I recommend vaping, but you know, you get you got to find the thing that works for you with it too, because some juices might, some might not. Some nicotine level in the juice you might need something higher. And it depends on your device too, because some aren't, you know, some are the wrong kind of inhaling for somebody who's trying to quit smoking. Some aren't strong, don't give enough vapor. Some give too much. It's, you know,
I
you,
always I always wonder about it because I've always stayed away from drugs and stuff, even cigarettes. I smoked a few, but it's something that I knew I didn't want to get involved in. But I was just wondering, I just kind of want to try to be addicted just to see how hard it is to get out of the addiction. But that's one of those things that I'd only want to try once, but still.
It's crazy, Evan, because that was my mentality too. When I was an athlete. I was totally anti-cigarette my whole life. I didn't start smoking cigarettes until I was in my 30s.
Mm-hmm.
Never smoked a cigarette until I was like 33.
Wow. I started, I was like 12.
How many times have you guys tried quitting, and how long was the longest you went?
2 weeks.
I don't say I ever actively tried quitting. I did try cutting back. The longest I ever quit, and that was mainly because I just was totally broke, was about 10 months, and as soon as I could, I was smoking again.
Wow.
Because I had no real desire to quit. It was more just financial.
Yeah.
I tried the patch a few times though, and the patch did help me cut down, and I cut down a lot. And even afterwards, I did until I'd get to some situation where there was a lot of stress or something. Then I'd smoke a lot again, and it at no point could the patch was never enough to make me quit.
What's weird is I remember like all the remember Dare, the drugs bear whatever and stuff, like they tell you as kids like this is the lungs of someone who smokes and this is the lungs of someone who doesn't. It's like I was always thinking, man, people should be dying quick, but it seems like every time I like both my mom and my brother smoke, and I'm like, yeah, I'm a little bit worried because they smoke a lot, but they're doing good. And do you think that's just a scare tactic? Because it doesn't make sense.
No, my father died of lung cancer. And that, but he was, I mean, I think part of it's genetics. I think part of it
is.
how long you smoke and what you smoke.
This
and
is where I'm sorry for a second.
I'm sorry I interrupt. That's why I stopped, because I thought
we both jumped in at the same time. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, that's just that's all. Just I think it's varies on your own body chemistry and what other.
Yeah, and I was going to back you up and agree. I think that's like the snowflake factor, because my grandmother smoked her entire life, and she lived into her 90s.
Yeah.
She died at 91 and had no complications to do with smoking when she passed away. It was amazing. She was a chain smoker.
Yeah, my grandmother was the same way. She was the one who introduced me to smoking when I was 3 or something. Because I wanted to try smoking, so she laughed and gave me this cigarette, and I blew outward, not inward. And so she said like this, and so I did that, and man, I stayed away from smoking for a long, long time because that burned my lungs as like a 3-year-old.
It's a risk. It's a risk. Everything you do in life is a risk.
Yeah.
You're taking a chance. I mean, you're already the cards are already stacked against you. You're being poisoned. You can't even drink water out of your own faucet.
Yeah, I mean, I think with my dad, what helped dad him about is I think he was already destroying his system because he drank heavily.
Oh yeah.
And
yeah, I struggle with drinking. I have an alcohol problem. I think it's pretty obvious and everyone knows, but it sucks too. That alcoholism is it's terrible. It sucks.
Mm-hmm.
It's the only, whatever you want to label it, a disease, a disorder, a dysfunction, whatever the D word is, man, it sucks. It's the only disease that pushes people away from you.
Yeah.
People don't want to fucking deal with you when you're an alcoholic. No one wants to know you.
Yeah, I never liked my father when he drank. And he always smoked. I'd never liked my mother when she drank. She would just go on these big old crying things. Like, she would cry and she would say she'd kill herself and all this other stuff. And I'd have to stay up all night making sure she was okay. And the next morning, she wouldn't remember anything. I hated that. My brother, I don't think he drank a lot socially, but he was never like an alcoholic, so that's kind of a good thing. He didn't inherit and my mother stopped drinking, so that's also good. And I think my father stopped drinking, so I think maybe genetics does have a factor on addiction levels or types of addiction, whether it's alcoholism or smoking or whatever. Because I don't think any of them stopped smoking. Once they started smoking, they still smoke, but they used to drink a lot, but they all stopped drinking a lot.
They encourage smoking in rehab, man. You walk in there, they give you a pack of cigarettes. I hear smoke, dude.
Wow.
Oof.
Yeah, my mother was never a drinker. She'd have an occasion if she went out or something. She might or she might not have a couple drinks or something, couple mixed drinks or that. But it was like once in a great while. And but my dad, yeah. And I never really took to it either. It's like that's how it always was for me too. Like I might get drunk, which I haven't now in years, but I'd maybe every 2 or 3 years I would get drunk, and then I'd remind me why I hated to drink, because the toilet and I would develop a very close relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of a binge drinker. Like my alcoholism is like I won't drink for like a month, 2 months, and then I'll just go on a total crate. Like 2, 3 days. I'll just drink nonstop. I won't eat food. And one beer isn't enough. I drink until I fall down.
Yeah.
It's really bad.
Yeah.
Really bad.
I think the worst part of the drinking is just you're a totally different person when you're drinking. I mean, I've known some people who are like just awesome people, and then when they drink, they're just the worst assholes in the world.
Yeah, that happens to me. You guys have seen it. I have a good heart. I'm a good man. When I drink, I'm a Jekyll and a Hyde. I definitely can turn into an asshole. And I hate being that guy. I hate being that. I don't want to be an asshole.
Yeah, I mean, we already have an A pronoun for you, Nash. You don't need another one.
Well, hey, man. This is a confessional, I guess. We're having a fucking open forum, open topic.
Hey, anything goes. Just because it's open doesn't mean.
I'm puking on the carpet. I'm puking on the carpet.
Yeah, I know. Well, we always noticed with my father, if he just drank beer, he'd get drunk if he drank enough, and it depends on where. Even beer, if he drank it out, he'd get drunk. If he drank it at home, he usually didn't, which was odd. But if he drank hard liquor, that's when he would turn into a mean drunk.
Oh yeah, no, I can't do liquor. I just drink beer.
If he drank beer, he usually wasn't mean. He was more goofy or whatever, and just
Yeah, I can get goofy and be fun on beer. Sometimes I can be fun. You give me liquor, forget it. That's a 100% guarantee. I'm going to be an asshole, violent. Like liquor, no, through the roof, horrible.
Yep. I mean, I wonder if they affect
the cannot do shots
or something. Yeah, I've heard you a couple times when you when you came on. But
yeah, I know. Yeah, I'm not proud of myself. I know I've been an asshole.
Well, everybody has their own vulnerabilities and weak points and things they do that,
Yeah. I mean, nobody's perfect. And
nope.
people who say that they're perfect lying through their teeth.
Well, right off the bat, if somebody says they're perfect, I know they're not perfect.
Yeah.
Right there. Okay, so you have a bloated ego. There's the mark against you right from the start.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm perfect, but that's aside the point. I'm perfect.
Well, as far as perfection goes, we'll give you that.
I only wish I was, but yeah.
We're all perfectly imperfect.
Don't we all?
I mean, what would be perfection anyway? What would be the definition of human perfection?
I think it's different. Everybody's idea of perfect is different.
Yeah. I mean, so it just seems like an arbitrary, like I don't know what you would call that, the goal or something like that. It's like what perfection might be one person might be totally different for another person. They might call it boring or dumb or it's just
I think
yeah,
like even in I don't know, I mean, like I don't know, looking at yourself or in a relationship, there's a difference between being perfect and being perfect for you,
Mm-hmm.
I think we should go to the lab and we should create the perfect being. All right, we'll combine Kendall Jenner, Albert Einstein.
All right, time to kick you off the show, Nash. Time to kick you off.
I know the minute perfection and a Kardashian comes into the same conversation, it's like
you're forever banned, perma ban.
I'm cut off. No. I know that was bad. I'm old, man. Leave me alone.
Well, at least you didn't say Bruce Jenner, because we'd be like the Bruce Jenner or the Caitlyn Jenner is like.
Oh yeah, look how well that turned out.
Yeah, I heard he wanted to change back, or she wanted to change back to a male. That was like the last thing I heard. I was like, oh my goodness, is that true?
I have no idea. I don't really follow.
Oh.
I don't. Everything I know about anybody Kardashian related is from headlines that I pass up.
Yeah, same here. But that was the headline.
Same here. I know. I made a bad joke. I don't fucking know what the hell who these people are.
You probably got like all the Kardashians,
Stop! I have
all
not
their posters
seen one
in your room.
Well, as far as you know, I have not seen one.
Man. I always wonder, like Kim Kardashian, she got famous for a sex tape, right? At least that was what they were saying.
Don't know anything about the woman.
Yeah,
I just saw a picture. Of
that's what I heard.
In a swimsuit, and I was like, she has a nice little touch.
Yeah, but that's how I heard she got famous, and I always wondered, if they found like, have you heard the fappening and stuff like that, where these hackers are stealing actors and or actresses their pictures, like nudies or whatever, from like their phones or from the cloud. It's like I always wondered. Yeah, and I always wondered if they had one of Kim Kardashian, and like, because a lot of them, they actually sue a couple of people or whatever, because of it. It's like, but wouldn't that be something that Kim Kardashian got famous from a sex tape? So someone found leaked a sex tape of hers and she sued them. That's just.
Yeah, it's hard to believe that they're Satanists. After all the media they get, you got to wonder. You're like, wow, these people are complete satanic fucking shitbags. But
okay, I don't go with that junk.
I do. They have.
To me, Satan.
They have.
There's two kinds of Satanism. One is egotism, and that's Levian Satanism, which isn't really, no actual Satan. And then there's just flip.
Why would you have paintings in your house of Satan? They have paintings in their house of the devil.
Because it's cool stuff. I mean, I love all kinds of occult imagery and stuff, and yet at the same time, I don't believe in it. I just think it's cool looking. I don't believe in Christianity, and I don't believe in Satanism. I don't believe in, some,
No, that's that. What do you mean? You don't? I don't understand that one bit.
What? I don't believe.
I like it because it's cool. I like demons.
I love
fire breathing.
Well, I like fantasy and I like science fiction, and a lot of the things.
I like it too.
And science fiction is, and other things are just cool looking symbols.
Yeah. I mean, just think of the movie Lord of the Rings, the Balrog, very demonic looking, but pretty cool looking. I mean, pretty cool. The CGI, what you're up against. I mean, I wouldn't say it's a cool thing. I just think that's.
I'm not gonna hang the Balrog in my house.
Why not?
Some people do. Some people have the Eye of Sauron.
I actually play a Lord of the Rings video game, and I can summon the Balrog.
Yeah.
I get it. I'm down with that, but I'm not going to hang them on the wall.
Yeah. I mean, like people who play Dungeons and Dragons, they like the artwork that's in all the monsters and stuff like that.
Dragons.
Yeah, I mean, it's just for them. For most people, it's art. Some very fundamentalist Christians would go, "That's just demon stuff." But when you're a kid growing up, you didn't really care unless you were in a very strict family with religious family. But
I don't know. I just have a interior decorator mindset a little bit different. I'm not hanging Balrogs on the wall.
Yeah.
I kind of like my granite countertops, and there's a certain way I like my house. I'm not.
Yeah, I'm the same way. But hey, some people they just fly differently.
Yeah, different tastes. I mean, I've got like Halloween decoration stuff, that I use to decorate in between my plush cats, and So
a lot of people like the dark, the black, that type of imagery. Some people really like the very angelic white and pink and type of stuff. So everyone has their thing. That's why art is an art and not a science. It's just everyone has different taste. Everyone has a different perception of what art is. Science, everyone has to see the same way because it's fundamentally tested and experienced.
I think it's a lot of it comes from your background. I don't know, Nash, if you were raised in some, a religious household or something, or.
No, not at all. Actually, I'm Jewish, but technically, no. I mean, like, we were, I guess, Reformed Jewish. Like, I have no idea about Judaism. Once I was bar mitzvahed at the age of 13, I've never been to temple since. I'm 50 years old now. I'm turning 50 this year. I have not been back to temple once. Well, get me out of here.
Hey, bar mitzvah, it's like party and money from relatives, and good food.
Yeah, it was all that. Yeah, it was. No complaints. It was a party. That's what it was.
But You know, I mean, I've looked at a lot of different religions just for curiosity and just because I find it interesting and that, but you know, it's yeah, I just don't buy into it. On the other
I don't
hand,
buy into it. I don't buy into it either, honey. As soon as, like I said, when I was 13, I was like, get me out of here. I've never been back to the temple since. I don't believe in organized religion. I believe in God. I believe in spirituality. There's different stuff. I don't need to go to church and make Joel Osteen a multi-billionaire who leaves people in the dark in Texas when a flood happens.
Mm-hmm.
no.
What, you don't want to pay for a preacher's multi-million-dollar jet plane? I mean,
Yeah.
come on, Nash. What kind of a? I don't know. I'm just kidding. I can't think of. I can't bring. I can't go on the
Who do I
charade for
make
so
the
long.
check out to? Who do I make? All right.
Forsaken companion.
You win. You win. All right, Forsaken companion. I'll leave it empty. You
I mean,
fill in the amount.
I mean, that's why it's such a hard thing to change anything. I mean, just look at the very religious people who will hang on every word like a pastor says, and that pastor is driving around, like a Rolls Royce, lives in a mansion, has a private jet plane, and is preaching about how the rich can't buy their way into heaven, right? It's like, guys, can't you see what the hell is going on? They don't see it.
No, or they think that this person got rich, and there are prosperity preachers, and they think this person got rich because of their belief, and that if I believe hard enough and long enough, I'm going to be rich like that too. And not even thinking about the whole reason they're rich is because you're giving them your money.
Yeah.
Um,
And that same thing goes for like the Pope, the
Hello.
there's a have you seen there's a documentary I saw, and they're like,
what is money?
have you guys seen the documentary where you've got these rabbis or something, the ones who circumcise the babies, and they'll suck the blood once they make the circumcision?
Oh, stop. Yeah, I've seen that, Ebon. That is
no, but I've heard about it.
Oh man, that's some. I mean, it was just it goes on, and the practice, it's okay, because they say, like, they've had science where they say their excuse is the saliva acts as like a antibiotic or whatever, and that's why they do it. And
the world is run by fucking lunatics.
Yeah.
There's a funny thing though. When I was maybe about 12, 13, there was this kid who lived at the corner who, if he got a cut or something, he'd have his dog lick it and say that always helped it heal. And I always thought that was kind of funny. And yet I read something not that long ago about something in the saliva of dogs that actually has a healing thing. And it wasn't like from a woo-woo site either. It was like some kind of study or something.
Yeah, I think I read the same thing too.
Bob said no fava beans.
Nash. Oh man. I mean, I do know, like, there's this one show where so they're like in a very, very cold climate. I think it's in Alaska or something. They have cows, and a calf is being born. They say what the thing is, they gotta try to get the calf to nurse with its mother within like an hour. If not, most likely the odds for them surviving aren't high, because they get a lot of antibiotics from the mother at that point. That I can understand, but saliva, on the other hand, I mean, if you believe in the evolutionary process, I don't think that was ever factored into that dogs can heal humans with their saliva. Like, I don't think that exists anywhere. It's like, why don't we just have? Never mind. Like saliva juice, dog saliva juice. You know, just. I mean, dogs. It's pretty easy. You could do it humanely. You just put in food in front of a dog that drools a lot, and there you go. Hey, that could be a new business. You could try starting that, Forsaken. Dog healing juice. Just buy a dog that'll drool a lot when you put a steak in front of him, and there you go.
Wow. Yeah. Let's see. Canine. I don't know. Guess I have to think of a zingy name.
Oh, cannanoid oil. That's a good one. That works.
Yep.
People may mistake it for
like
cap. What? Sorry.
I like it. I thought that was pretty clever.
Tribes in the Solomon Islands claim
canine
pterodactyls
oil.
birds.
Exactly where have they seen pterodactyls?
On the Solomon Islands.
Considering they've been extinct for, like, how many, like, I don't know, million years, something?
Well,
that
they evolved into chickens, so you don't want chickens licking you. I mean, that's the greatest thing about evolution. You become smaller and cuter and more helpless. I mean, doesn't make sense, but that's the way it goes. Or
chickens are decent people.
Or like crocodiles, they existed within dinosaurs. They haven't changed anything except for size. So you would think that more animals would become more like crocodiles because they're the apex predator. Same thing with like sharks. You'd think more fish would want to become like sharks instead of being the one eaten by sharks. But that doesn't seem to be the case. I don't know. You guys know me. You guys know my thoughts and stances.
We're surrounded. The world is run by sharks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Washington is just a sea of sharks.
Oh man. People get excited to go visit DC. I went there once. I was not excited at all. I think the only thing that I liked was the Natural Science Museum, and that was still
Yeah, I wouldn't mind like Smithsonian or something, but I don't have any real urge to go to.
Oh.
See, that's good stuff. Sometimes you step out of the matrix and you just enjoy being alive. You just the smell in the air, the wonder at the museum. Sometimes it's just break away. Smell the roses.
I think I might have seen that pic. Nathan Fowler saying Japanese car dead plesiosaur in their fishing nets and dumped it, but I don't know. I don't know why they would dump something like that if they knew it was like an old dinosaur. I would like put it in the freezer and just sell it to like a museum. They'd put it on eBay. Hey, I've got a freezer of a dead plesiosaur. Who wants it? Bidding would be pretty big until like the U.S. military comes and gets it from you, saying that they gotta put it in quarantine. They gotta take it away for the safety of infection, and they'll do whatever they want, I guess.
Yeah. Well, Nathan, nobody has seen any brontosauruses stomping around or anything, and I mean, other things have gotten smaller, but as far as the ocean goes, I mean, there's so much of it that hasn't been explored. Who knows what's in there?
Yeah, the Smithsonian has a lot of stuff. They lie a lot too, but that's another day, another Another conspiracy, which is true.
Yeah, I thought the Maldive Islands were supposed to be underwater fucking 5 years ago. What happened? Al Gore.
Climate changed. Didn't you know that, Nash?
I thought keep your eyes on the Maldives Islands. And I haven't seen the Keys I live in Florida. I haven't seen the Keys fucking change one bit.
Remember how like all the Australians were gonna die from skin cancer because of the ozone hole back in the
We're all gonna be underwater.
80s and 90s.
But they've actually restored a lot of the ozone layer.
Yeah.
Putting out fluorocarbons and. What do we need that many chemicals in the atmosphere for anyways?
Nothing good, I'll say that. We didn't need all these chemicals for millions and billions of years.
Oh, come on. We've been sold better living through chemistry.
Yeah.
Come on. You had the hots for your chemistry teacher in high school. She was a babe.
Yeah, I got that same look on my face you had, Ebon. It was kind of sick.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember my chemistry teacher. I don't remember my chemistry teacher at all.
I know. Thank you. I don't remember either. I think it was a guy, actually. I don't even know.
Yeah, I think my chemistry teacher. Oh no, I'm thinking of my physics teacher. Damn, I don't know.
Yeah, I went through school. My experience was kind of just like a fog. A fog. I just went through the motions. I was not listening to a fucking thing they said.
Yeah, me neither.
There were like in my school 2 teachers that were good looking. One was a guy and one was a girl. You know, and they were both like younger teachers, and everybody else was pretty hideous. So, not just my teachers, but of all the teachers in the school, they were like 90 years old and.
Yeah, like you like a typical, Pink Floyd album cover. That guy. All my teachers looked the same. They were all that guy.
I remember. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, my 7th grade reading teacher, it's like we all dreaded it because the guy had the worst breath. And when he'd come over and, talk or something, you'd get this horrendous cloud of
That sucks.
Yeah, you see, this is something with common ground. We used to call him Bad Breath Cassell, the assistant principal in elementary school. He had the worst breath, and that was his reputation. It was so bad.
Things you guys remember.
Well, I remember being 5 years old. I do.
Yep. I loved my 1st grade teacher.
I remember elementary school.
I think I remember that. What's funny is I don't remember any of my 1st grade teachers except the one teacher that everyone hated. She was the one who taught cursive, and she was very mean. Or maybe it was 3rd grade. Her name was Mrs. White, but no one liked her because she didn't like anyone because no one wrote good cursive. Except me. I wrote good cursive, so she was nice to me, and I liked her. Isn't that funny? It's just
my 6th grade teacher. Yeah, a lot of people hated her, but she was always nice to me because she'd also been my mother's teacher.
Oh, yeah.
And
I
loved my 6th grade teacher. I remember we were so lucky. We had Mr. Schwartz, and I remember we had to read Watership Down that year, and there's stuff. This is way back in the 70s. I'm an old man now, but he was so cool. Everyone was like, "You're so lucky to have Mr. Schwartz."
I had a teacher. Her name is Miss Galat. She thought I was crazy. I think she was seriously scared of me. Even my friends would say, "Yeah, I think she's really scared of you." I don't know why. She loved one of my friends. He's a really good friend of mine, and yeah, she like loved him. I think like if she could get away with like the who's that lady that had sex with that 13-year-old or something like that, 12-year-old. Like that could have been her. I think. With that's how much she liked my friend. A little freaky, but she thought I was, and I was the scary one. It's like,
I know. Well, I have a different take on that kind of stuff. I'm a male chauvinist pig, so it's a feather in your cap when you're 16 and your teacher fucking wants to bang you. I'm I'm just saying.
Well, I mean, yeah, if it's a young hot teacher or something, I guess most boys are gonna more than most girls. But
yeah.
Yeah, when it comes to totally different animal.
Yeah.
I know I have a double standard. I'm when it comes to girls, I don't play that fucking game. But yo.
Yeah, I mean, guys,
old man.
guys as teens, man, we're horny. I think like a hot teacher. I don't think the kids would care. Like, yeah, rape. That's fine with me. But yeah, definitely different.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, can a woman really rape a 16-year-old man?
Yeah, like,
it's not possible. The man is totally like, yes, he's into it the whole fucking way.
Yeah.
Come on,
Yeah.
like, please, like, come on.
I mean, look, it is a double standard because it's like if my son was 16 and he banged like a young hot teacher, I'd be like, I don't know how you did it, son, but good job. But then on the total flip side, if my daughter who's 16 did the same thing with a hot male teacher, I'd be like, lady, you are in deep trouble.
Exactly. I know. I have a double standard too. I feel the same way. I'm like, if the guy did it, I would fucking kudos, feather in your hat. If it happened to a girl, I'd come and fucking break your neck.
Yeah.
It's like
I just think it's likely for a girl to be interested in a teacher in high school or that. I think, well, maybe more in college or something, because if you have a younger college professor, they're maybe closer in age or something. But in high school, I think most girls aren't even thinking about, even if there's a younger teacher, aren't really thinking about it that much, where the boys are more likely to be thinking about it.
Yeah. It reminds me of if you watch Indiana Jones, the first one, The Lost Crusade. Harrison Ford, he's teaching. That was like in his young days. He had a classmate a student, like she'd blink and she wrote like "I love you."
Yeah, she had "I love you" tattooed on her eyelid.
Yeah,
and she'd blink.
And he'd look and
yep, I remember that. Yeah, dude, I was a big Indiana Jones fan. I love
same here.
I love the series.
Yeah. Last Crusade was
they were great.
Oh, I was thinking the Lost Ark, not the Last Crusade. It was the first one.
Yeah, Lost Ark is the first one.
Yeah.
Yes, correct.
Yeah. Man.
You're talking to a nerd, man. Yeah. I know Harrison Ford. I'm a total. Come on, bring it on.
Yeah, we're all old movie buffs.
I cut school when I was a kid so I could see The Empire Strikes Back. Wow. Well, whatever year that was, my parents allowed me to skip school just so I could see the goddamn movie. And we went there at 6
I think it was in 81.
We went there at 6 in the morning, and there was a line.
I think it was in 81. It was 77 was the New Hope. 81, I think, was Empire Strikes Back, and I think 84 was Return of the Jedi. Let me look.
83, Return of the Jedi.
Oh.
And I think, yeah.
It was such a big deal. My parents let me cut school.
Oh, 1980. Oh, I was off by a year. Dang. And I thought I knew my movie in years.
And there was a line. The parking lot was packed. packed at 6 in the morning. it was a festival, man. It was crazy. It was so cool.
Yeah. I was so disappointed with the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Yeah, that was definitely a fucking horrible movie.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
hate it. I'm one of the people who don't hate it. I don't think it compares to the others, but I don't hate it.
Well,
Yeah, but it just wasn't a good movie. It just wasn't good.
I mean, just the beginning. He survives an atomic blast while inside a refrigerator.
Yeah, that's kind of ridiculous.
It wasn't a good movie. That's all there is. I'm not saying it sucked. It was, belongs in the pit of hell, but it wasn't good. This movie fucking.
Yeah.
Fuck it. I take it back. That movie sucked.
All the latest movies are really sucking now, and I hate that. Like I was excited with Ridley Scott making Prometheus, and then was really excited for Alien Covenant, but man, Alien Covenant, I think, is like one of the worst movies ever. Like I wanted to make videos of both movies titled "People Who Suck at Their Job." I
mean, there are movies that are really like painful.
Yeah.
Painful. Like they hurt you to watch. You're like, this is. Have you ever walked out of the theater?
No, because I just know what I know what's. If it's horrible in the first 30 minutes, I know what to expect, and I'm like, okay, it's gonna be horrible. Lower your expectations to the worst expectation possible. That way, you get your money's worth. Because movies these days cost like going to the movies is like a $20, $30 event these days.
I know. If I paid for it, I'm not walking out of it. I don't care.
Yeah. I mean, what I used to do was I time everything. I buy a ticket for one movie, and I know that I could, once it ends, I could sneak into the next movie that I wanted to see because it'll start at a certain time, and I'd walk out.
Are you kidding me?
No, I used to do that all the time. I'd buy one movie ticket.
I go behind the popcorn stand and I shake the guy by his ankles. Give me my fucking money back, you piece of shit.
But there's
Hollywood
this one time where I really enjoyed a movie that I snuck into, and as I left, I bought a ticket for the movie just because I felt guilty of buying it, of just seeing it for free because it was so good. It's like, man, I hope they make another movie, and hopefully this makes a difference at the box office. So, that was,
Give the ticket to somebody waiting in line or anything?
oh, I didn't even think about that. I wasn't thinking back then. I was like, I'm impressed. I'm gonna buy a movie ticket, and I went home. I think I was saving it, but it was such a good movie. I saved the whole ticket, but then of course time happens and you forget about the movie ticket. So I think that's what happened. No, Nathan.
Seen Alien Covenant.
Oh my goodness. So the worst. Yeah, the worst movie. Keep your expectations really low. It's horrible when the characters are dumb. Like, what I love about movies is there's a challenge, right? There's a challenge that people have to surpass, and they're smart. They come up with their brightest plans, but no matter what, they still fail, and they still keep at it to try to find out how they could survive and get past this challenge. I love those movies. But then you get a movie where they make the stupidest mistakes possible. I'm just saying stupidest mistakes possible. And it's like, what do you expect from this movie? I mean, they're all idiots. Right? It's like, I mean, whatever they do, it had to be just something that's not idiotic. At least they have a chance. But these guys are all idiots. It's like, you can't root for idiots. It's just, unless it's one of those movies where it's like a comedy.
They're beyond idiots. They're banker-owned pedophiles that fucking put people on film and create fucking idols.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't say that.
Yeah. For me, it's just like you have one job. It's your job. I mean, you should be good at your job. Either humanity or some rich trillionaires hired you on this mission, and they hired you. You're like the worst at this job. The worst person ever. Like your only job maybe is to make sure that quarantine occurs. That's their job. Quarantine.
Hey man, if we can take over Ukraine and stick in Joe Biden's son, you know, it's all good. Yo man, this is how we roll.
I don't know how that got.
And we gotta
there.
fucking talk about Syria, man, because we're fucking not done. Those motherfuckers need to give us their oil.
Syria.
Accept that Federal Reserve note.
Isn't Saudi Arabia? They don't like Syria, or maybe they're like allies with Iran. Maybe that's why. I don't know. But what's also
no, it's all a show. They're all in bed together. Come on, they're all in bed together. Iran, Russia, Saudi Arabia, Israel, the United States, Britain. It's a one big club, and you ain't in it.
Yeah. You know, one of the conspiracy theories that I have, because I remember reading so much about like ISIS or the Taliban that they would go and destroy like all these Buddha statues. The thing is, and now that I'm looking, is like there's just so much history, ancient history in the Middle East. And I think we're going in there to destroy all these monuments, you know, ancient monuments. And I think that's probably the main reason that we're in and invading. We're just there to destroy.
Yeah, there's definitely Indiana Jones stuff going on, man. They're definitely looting and plundering. There's no doubt about that. We have proof. What was I going to say? Oh. Damn it, this is why you shouldn't drink.
Oh man, it's been on for almost 2.5 hours, plus the interview 2 hours. Man, I've gone on like half a day.
Oh, you're good for another 3 hours or so.
Yeah, right. I am exhausted. I had the kids today because we had snow, so school was canceled, daycare was canceled. It was a fun day. I spent all day looking after them. Plus, on top of that, I built them a snow fort and shoveled the entire driveway. I am exhausted, but yeah, it feels good. I like being exhausted. I like that feeling for some reason, because I feel like I got good stuff done.
Best part of living in Florida is we have free snow plowing.
Yeah, it's called the sun and the heat.
That was a bad joke too. I know. I stink.
Who was it that was talking about a movie night? Or was that you, Forsaken? We were talking about movies, or
might have been. I've talked about movies before.
Yeah, I forgot what movie that we were talking about that you're like, oh man, I wish I was in that conversation.
Oh, yeah, I do kind of remember that. But I don't remember the movie.
Oh, maybe it was because I was talking about the science fiction movies. Remember the genre that I like?
Yeah.
Space operas. Man, I'm a flat earther, so it's like, why would I want flat Earth if I love space movies?
When did you become a flat earther?
I'd say around 2 months ago.
You knew. You're a noob.
I'm pretty new.
Here's my thing. I think the flat Earth thing is silly, but beyond that,
Everyone thinks the flat Earth is silly, even the flat earthers when they start researching.
But beyond that, what's the point? There is no point. The world, all these things going on in the world. No, there isn't. All these things on in the world are going on. It doesn't matter if the world looks like a giant rubber ducky. It doesn't
I
matter.
agree with Forsaken.
Well,
I do. I'm totally on board with where Forsaken is coming from.
Well, there's also thought that all of this is all this stuff that's going on is just a stage. I mean, even if you look into nuclear weapons aren't real. It's a conspiracy to make you think that nuclear weapons exist, and so it's
Hey man, it doesn't matter if they exist. They have bombs. You've seen the people at Nagasaki.
If they can fake and make people, if they can fake and make people believe a flat Earth is a globe, if they can make people believe that there's this terrifying weapon that could destroy every living thing on the Earth that was created by a few scientists in Manhattan and whatnot, they can make people believe anything.
Yet there are people still alive, and there are people whose parents were alive and actually witnessed things.
Well, they could, obviously explosions occur, but then there's also the radiation factor. Yeah, they're still living there. They didn't go through any defects, DNA changes, whatever, like they say in all these documentaries about nuclear radiation fallout. And then you've got Fukushima, which is a nuclear reactor that went melted down, and you've got all of this radiation in the ocean current, especially in the Pacific, that's supposedly enough to kill people. Yet no one's dying from radiation poisoning from the Fukushima fallout. So there's just a lot of scare stuff. I mean, none of that is real. None of that. I mean, and then if you dive deep into conspiracy theory, the person who designed the nuclear factories, nuclear energy buildings, he used to swim. He used to drink the radioactive material. He's fine. He joked that like he had to take all this precautions. Like, dude, I'm the one who came up with this whole building system with nuclear energy. It's like, I know what I'm doing. And he's trying to prove to everyone, like, how am I going to prove it to you? Here, I'll drink a glass of water that's radioactive. Here, look, I'll put this in my mouth. Hey, look, I'm going to swim in a swimming pool full of radioactive water.
Okay.
Radioactivity is fake. This whole nuclear thing is a farce. No one will believe him. I mean, like, you're not going to believe the designer and creator of the nuclear energy facilities. Who else are you going to believe? You're not going to believe anyone else if you can't believe that guy. So yeah, you're going to believe anything if you can't even believe that the person who has the most expertise in it says otherwise. And so there you go.
The person who probably has an investment in it and didn't genuinely expose himself to it.
Who knows? I mean, it's just why would someone with that prestige and no reason for him to really do it, go through all that? I mean, someone who has that type of position doesn't need to do anything else. He's already making millions of dollars. He's already got tons of work he could do. He could just retire if he really wanted. He didn't have to go and expose what's going on. And I don't think the people who the ones who are probably saying, hey, we should probably take this guy out, they're probably just laughing. He's like, no one's gonna listen to this guy. I mean, it just sounds lucrative. We'll just make him look crazy. That's all that's all anyone has to do. Just like how the people in mainstream media right now just calls out anyone who doesn't follow their narrative. They just call them crazy. That's it. All you have to do is call someone crazy, call them a pedophile. Boom. No one's taken that person's not taken seriously ever again.
Well, why don't you put it to the test and expose yourself to some major radiation and see what happens? And you can let us all know.
Sure. Okay. Everyone pay me $1 million. That way my family is all set. It's like we'll do how about we'll do a GoFundMe? If everyone raises $10 million, Ebon Kim will drink radioactive nuclear waste.
Well, if you think it's
Don't do it, man.
I'll do it.
Nobody should have to pay you to do it.
No, because I want something in return. I mean, hey, I could build this simple site where I could show if that YouTube is censoring content creators. No one paid a cent. You guys expect me to build something that costs $10,000 at least and do it for free?
Evan, I'm not going to allow you to walk into a microwave oven.
Look, people
That's
just
it.
set up my
Don't
family so my
Putting my foot down.
family can thrive without me, in case I am wrong. And if I'm right,
Nope, stop
heck,
being a
I'm going to
hero.
be fine with the millions of dollars that I made for doing something that no one else in the world will do.
You're not Superman.
I'm already going to
Stop being
go
a
ahead and do
hero
something no one else in the
with
world
your
is
big
going to do, which
American
is go
white
to the
blue
magnetic
cape
North Pole.
Flipping, flopping behind you.
I don't know why you got to talk over me, Nash.
Sorry.
I mean, personally, I don't want to take the risk. I don't like having.
Yeah, I'll take the risk.
I don't like having a nuclear power plant 20 miles from me. That does not make me happy. You know, I mean, I don't like the risk because you know, chances are something goes wrong with that. It goes catastrophically wrong.
Have you ever seen a nuclear meltdown destroy a city?
But that's not what it is. It's not an explosion.
So what do? They tell people to leave, right? So at most they're going to tell you to leave your home. They're going to say, hey, it's unsafe. Right? The nuclear facility is leaking. You're going to have to leave. It's too dangerous to live here with this radiation. All they're going to do is have you leave.
Yeah, I live 20 miles from a nuclear power plant myself. Port St. Lucie, Florida. There's one right there on the beach.
I mean, I just assumed they did away with nuclear power altogether. So.
Oh no, there's nuclear power everywhere.
I know. I wish they'd just start phasing it out.
And like,
I'm with you. I don't like it either.
Like, all you have to do is just look into all the radioactive waste that's been accumulated way back, saying this is where we're going to store our waste. You know, we're starting to run out of room. You know, this stuff isn't going to go away for millions and millions of years. Yet we've always built more nuclear facilities. Therefore, we'd have more nuclear waste, especially over time. And yet you don't hear any mention of this, of how, hey, we're running out of places to store nuclear waste where it can leak. It's like, hey, I guess we just figured out the solution. It's not a problem anymore. They don't mention it.
Just because we don't hear about it. I mean, you love your conspiracy theories, and yet.
Well, because everything's a conspiracy.
Just because they don't tell us that it's a problem doesn't mean it's not a problem.
So even if they do tell us that it's a problem, do you believe that it's a problem? I mean, you love your mainstream media so much. Do you believe everything that they say? So does mainstream media lie? I mean, not all the time, but do they lie?
Sure they do.
Okay, now do mainstream media, do they avoid mainstream media, do they avoid certain topics? Certain topics they never talk about? So
I just want to correct you. You said, you know, all the time. Yes, all the time.
Well, yeah,
you know, you were going to be like, you know, they were.
Well, anyways,
90%.
all I'm saying is,
if on the side of caution.
So mainstream media, they lie or they don't report things for specific reasons. So even if they report it or they didn't report it, what makes differences make? They already got you by the balls. Either way, they report it or they don't report it, you don't trust them anyway. So if they even reported it, what's the difference? All it is the logical part. It's like, why would they, if there was a big problem in the past, not having it as a problem in the current, and if it is a problem currently, they just don't report it, then why aren't we having a lot of issues with a lot of nuclear radiation poisoning and things like that? And of course, we don't have that poisoning occurring, and it's not a prevalent problem. And if it was a big prevalent problem, a lot of people who are in the industry would probably say, hey, it's going to be a big problem, we're all going to die, blah, 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 and yet none of that occurs, or it's just all hidden.
People in the coal industry saying that, or just the people saying that?
People who are who've probably worked in the radiation industry are all talking about Fukushima. I mean, even if you hear, what's his name, the guy from Iowa. Why am I forgetting his name right now? He was the first one who talked about it. He told us all the details about it. He used to be on the show all the time. He's very scientific. He's a materials engineer. I can't believe I forget his name. Snork, yeah. I'm talking about the dangers of Fukushima, how the radiation's everywhere. That's where I learned it from. But there's no mention of anywhere of being anyone being affected by it. People who are eating eating fish from the Pacific Ocean or even Atlantic Ocean should be heavily affected with radiation isotopes. But we don't see anyone dying from it. We don't see any ill causes of that.
Also cumulative.
Could be, but it's such a big danger. This, radiation has always been touted as like one of the worst dangers for anyone to be exposed to. So it's just, you just got to use your brain because you're going to be fed information and misinformation and some truths, half truths, lies, but you just got to think about what they're saying, how long they've been saying it, if they stop saying it, and just has it even been affecting anyone, if not for decades or at least today? Like certain things, just like Nash was saying, the Maldives Islands, they're saying for like decades, it's in just a couple of years, the Maldives Islands, they're just gonna be totally underwater. They're not even close to being totally underwater.
Thing is, they can't. I don't think they can set a specific timetable on something like that.
They said the oceans are rising like 2 inches per year.
But it's rising. It is rising.
Then the Maldives Islands should be underwater. If it's 2 inches per year, and that documentary was made 14 years ago, that's like that's almost over 2 feet that the island sunk. But you don't.
The Maldives, the Keys in Florida, just on and on. Every shoreline that you have mapped 10 years ago, 15, 20 years ago has not changed one bit.
Yeah.
Maybe from an overhead perspective, there have been changes. It may not be happening as fast as some people wanted to project and everything. Even when they talk about 12 years, they're not saying everything's going to be underwater or this and that in 12 years. They're just saying 12 years, there'll be so much damage that it would probably be too hard to even reverse it. They're not saying that that's the end of everything, even when they say 12 years. But I mean, the thing is, I don't feel they can say a specific time. They just it's kind of like, my doctor saying, well, I want you to lose 20 pounds by such and such a time. And then when I lost 12, he's like, okay, I just said 20 as a,
All right, forsaken, I got to ask you this, and I'm sorry to interrupt. I have to ask you this. Do you think the solution is to tax people then? For this global, whatever. I mean, like, do you think putting more pressure on the people? I mean, because that's the solution that is being presented. I mean, like, wonderful.
I think it's more.
You have a great argument. Yes, the world is melting. We need to do something. But taxing the people, is that what you think is the best way to go?
I think it's coming after the corporations.
The corporations are going to pass it on to the consumers. They're not going to take the hit.
It depends on how they approach it. If they, limit what they can do in that regard. I mean, the thing is, I would rather they, put restrictions, put regulations, they're undoing all kinds of regulations. When we need more regulations, and that's what gets me funny with the Republicans. They're like all anti-regulation, except they're all for regulations on people. They're just not for regulations on, big businesses.
Well, my problem with regulations they are selective. We can regulate this, but not that. I mean, it's just it's a game. It's a shell game.
And
shell game.
And here, the whole awakening thing that
series that I'm gonna be,
the whole awakening series that I'm gonna be doing. One of the things I mentioned is it all starts with the control system. You most think you can make changes in order for change to occur. I mean, shouldn't climate change be the number one focus? I mean, we've got one Earth. Climate's getting so bad. Although people are having the coldest weather ever, that's why they changed it from global warming to climate change. Or they'll just say, the scientists will say, oh, before it gets really, really hot, it's going to get really, really cold. All this other stuff.
I think global warming was
that documentary. They actually made a movie where they had them sitting underwater. They actually filmed a thing where they were like the whole office.
Yeah, so I wasn't finished. So I'm saying this is the most critical thing. Isn't that what you should focus on and just do everything you can, because nothing else matters if we're all underwater and living in water world, right? But of course, how long is it going to be? They'll say, I think the estimates for like we're going to be in very, very, very like we can't even change reverse climate change. They said that like by the time 2020 comes, this was like back in 1997 or something. By the time climate change takes its full effect, you know, it's non-reversible in 2020, and by the time it's like 2060, you know, we're gonna start seeing big changes in the environment, and then by like 20.
Well, yeah, and didn't Cortez just come out and say in 12 years we're all dead?
Yeah. So like how many times
in 12 years we're all dead?
How many times?
And in 12 years from now, I guarantee you, we'll be standing here like
yeah, I mean, how many times will the forecast or the predictions that these scientists and governments and whatever make that will change your mind?
This is fear porn to the extreme.
Hyperbola, but I think maybe they try the hyperbola just to try to get the message through to people, you know. And on the other hand, it backfires. But I think maybe that's the thinking: get the message through people's heads by making it seem more imminent. But I do think there's actual damage happening.
Oh, it's a good thing I'm not drinking tonight.
And look how crazy the weather has been. I mean, really, you know, I mean, bigger storms than ever, bigger, you know, snowfalls, more hurricanes, more, you know, more everything. You know, more drought.
Yeah, they're not spraying the sky in front of your face. They're not, you know, manipulating, you know, the weather since Vietnam.
Nobody's been
cloud seeding and you know, yeah, they're not fucking around.
Nobody's been spraying my skies. I haven't seen anybody spraying anything in my skies.
Yeah, it's been a while. I haven't seen one either in quite a while.
I've seen a lot here. It gets pretty bad here, but of course, they do it like in the working hours. Like I don't really go outside very much, but when I do, it's like they're there, and it's like, jeez, holy smokes, really? It's like, was this how it looked when I was in Boston? I just didn't pay attention to it because I was working inside a building all day. It's just, yeah, until you notice it, you're not going to notice it. Most of the time, people don't want to notice
in your lifetime, so it's kind of it's a generational thing, you know. I mean, I'm an old motherfucker, and I can tell you those I was never in the sky.
Yeah.
What was in the sky? What are you seeing, Ebon?
The contrails.
Chemtrails.
Oh, the contrails, chemtrails, however way you want to say it. I mean, I even showed videos. Like, you've got certain planes that don't have those super long streaks, and then you got certain planes that do. And then all the ones that do, they're all going in the same direction. And
but that's different. It's a difference between jet engines and, I mean...
Yeah, I know. You're going to make an excuse for it. You're going to...
I don't see them with planes, but I've seen them with jets. I mean, if you see the Blue Angels going, you're going to see, you know, contrails. If I see...
I've seen the Blue Angels.
Yeah, I've seen Blue Angels too.
Yeah, when I see a passenger plane, I don't see any...
I'm talking about chemtrails that stay there 24 the whole day.
So
don't go away.
So I mean, that's just a method of dispersal. The whole chemtrails. Geoengineering. Are you saying geoengineering doesn't exist, Forsaken?
Not to that degree. I mean, sure, there's cloud seeding. You know, and there's, you know, certainly...
How do they see the clouds?
Top spraying. Huh?
How do they see the clouds?
Manipulate the
how do they disperse the chemicals for geoengineering, Forsaken? Do they just throw rockets up in the air and do it that way, or would they put it on planes if it's going to go into an atmosphere? What seems easiest?
Well, they do. Cloud seeding is on planes, but it's not. That's not changing the whole weather everywhere. That's weather control.
So that's what geoengineering is. It's weather control. China does it. They openly say they do it.
but you're not to the degree you're trying to make it that every
Well,
catastrophe.
you know, they have a geoengineering school in Harvard University. Do you believe that, or you don't believe it? You can easily find out. Why would they have? Why would they have a school, Harvard University of all schools, have a geoengineering degree?
That's not the same as somebody sitting with some magical machine and saying, "Okay, I'm going to make it hail today. Okay, today it's going to be sunny."
But isn't that something that governments would use, if not for domestic farming, but of weather warfare? You don't think they would even contemplate having weather warfare as a tactical way of attacking another country?
Isn't that one of Kissinger's famous quotes?
Yeah. I mean, all you have to do is look for it. It's not hard to find it. They say it. They say it to people, straight to the public's faces. I mean, you can even, like, Henry Kissinger even quotes what soldiers are to him. That they're just pawns. They're just dogs.
Chemical on people. That's not.
I'm telling you exactly what's going on, and
control every kind of weather.
I'm telling you exactly what's going on. The mainstream media is telling you exactly what's going on. .gov sites are telling you exactly what's going on, and no one's telling you exactly what's going on. Yet you still choose not to either believe them or believe people who are saying, "Hey, they're telling us it's going on. We're seeing it in the sky. We've got evidence for it. We've got people who are seeing the levels of the areas where there are these chemtrail things, and there's just higher levels of aluminum."
Every time a jet has some kind of a jet trail or something, oh my God, they're spraying the environment.
So look, the only way, if they are spraying it and they're saying they're spraying it, and the only way to really find out is to actually test the what's on the ground, and they've done that with snow and water, because that's where it's going to accumulate.
Well,
and you know what? They found those
100%
levels.
Specifically said the weather. He certainly did.
They all tell you straight up exactly what they think about you and everyone else. They tell you straight up exactly what they're doing. No one believes them, and yet everyone takes their side, saying, "Oh yeah, it's conspiracy theory." What? I'm .gov. I'm this high member of government. I'm telling you exactly what's going on, and I'm gonna, make things worse for you. And everyone's like, "Yeah, of course you're a politician." And then they go, well, obviously people who are saying he's actually doing that are just conspiracy theorists and crazies. Like, they're saying it right to your face. You can look it up. It's on a .gov site. They're saying, they got quotes, they got videos, they got evidence of people saying it all the time. Yet no one believes that they're doing it, especially you, Forsaken, which I don't understand. The world is horrible to you. And everything's horrible, and people are making it horrible, especially politicians. You don't trust mainstream media. You don't trust the politicians. Yet they're doing all of this stuff that's good. Is that what it is? They're lying but doing good stuff. Like, I don't get your stance. It's like, so all this stuff is getting worse. All the people who are in control are horrible, but all the stuff that's going on where they're actually doing horrible stuff, that's just conspiracy theory. They're not doing that. They're just bad people making bad mistakes all the time. Is that what it is?
Of creating completely controlling the weather, whether they could
spray
a chemical.
You guys aren't paying enough money.
Can they spray a chemical on people? Yeah, they can do that, and I wouldn't put that past them. And in fact, I believe there were instances. In fact, there was something about in France. This was some years ago, where they released a chemical, like an LSD type chemical, and that.
Yeah, there's plenty of times where they disperse chemicals to the public, especially without the public knowing.
But as far as like being able to precisely control weather, create a storm here and sun there, and
well, how do you think they'll get to the point where they can control weather? They'd have to experiment and test and find results, right?
They might experiment and test, but I don't think they're capable of it at this point, anywhere near it.
Yeah, but they would still try to, right? I mean, if they may overshoot it. I mean, they say, "Hey, we're gonna have this really bad weather. How about we try to control it to make it better?" And they overshoot it. It's like, "Oh shit, we made it worse. All right, how about we add this in instead, or take this much away?" I mean, it's just a lot of test, experiment, find the results. The results aren't what we wanted. Retry it with. Hopefully, you get different results. And of course, they're gonna have to do that live. they
all
can't
that crazy.
they can't test an isolated weather system. They might be able to try one town and all this other stuff, but they're not going to get enough data fast enough. They're going to try all over different types of areas, different types of atmospheres, levels, different types of ingredients, different types of factors. Basically, so many different variables, but they're going to have to keep doing it over and over again and see what the results are. And if you don't think that's happening, then I don't get it. Then how are they going to try to? If you're saying that they're experimenting, but they haven't been able to control it yet. Yeah, that could be true. But if they're going to try to actually perfect it, they're going to have to keep experimenting and doing it. So they are doing it. That's what you're saying.
I think I don't put it beyond them to be attempting it. I don't think they've succeeded at it.
So then you are admitting that there are
things, but I wouldn't put it beyond. I know I'm not admitting they are. I'm saying I wouldn't put it beyond them that they are trying to figure out how, if there are ways to do it.
Yeah, that's all it is. So it's a conspiracy.
That's not the same as saying they have actually accomplished this or that.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. They're still doing it. Whether they're able to accomplish it, what does that matter? They're still doing it.
I have a question.
The things that I do think they're doing is affecting the food. They're affecting food chains. Look at all the chemicals in the foods.
Of course.
You know, those things. You know, to me, that's a lot more realistic and immediate thing. You can't even get food that doesn't have pesticides or chemicals in it, and you know, even our so-called organic foods usually aren't. You know.
Yep, I agree. I guess certain conspiracies are okay. Certain conspiracy theories are too wacky. I guess is that what you're saying?
Plausible. Some things are more plausible, and some things are less. And you know. So
they yeah, okay. Sounds. I mean, that's okay. I mean, a conspiracy is a conspiracy. They're trying to kill you one way or another. You know, that's fine.
Well, pretty much, I think we can all agree on that. They're trying to kill us one way or the other.
Yeah.
You know, or I think it's more a matter of less trying to kill, more trying to control. You know, I think. I mean, I look at the things happening in the news every day. You know, the shootings. You know. People just going crazy and doing crazy things, and I think part of it is just the pressures, you know, put on it by society and everything, and the culture. But I also sometimes think that some part of it's chemical in nature. It might have to do with therein comes my conspiracy theory, that there are things in the food or in the water or in the air that affect people's behavior, people's judgment.
Yeah. Do you think fluoride is one of them, or do you think that's just a conspiracy theory?
No, it's possible. I don't know. I haven't looked into it enough. I mean, I was actually just talking about fluoride a couple days ago with Jeremy and mentioning trying to, you know, that fluoride in toothpaste and how much more you have to pay to get toothpaste without fluoride, and you know, so yeah, that's a possibility. I haven't really looked into fluoride enough, but I can't specifically say what chemicals without going and researching myself.
Nathan Fowler asks if you've heard of CERN's Large Hadron Collider doing what is 8 terabyte volt dump and causing an earthquake hundreds of miles away. I don't know about that, but I mean, we do know fracking. Maybe you don't think so, but fracking is causing earthquakes in areas that shouldn't experience or normally experience earthquakes.
Well, I believe that fracking causes, you know, instability in the ground and causes earthquakes in areas that aren't known to have earthquakes, and yeah.
So do you think the Hadron Collider would be able to do the same thing?
I don't know. I don't think the Hadron Collider is digging into the ground.
Oh,
I'm not quite sure what they do other than, you know, I don't know if it has something to do with black holes, maybe opening a small black hole or something. I'm not sure what
all it is just colliding particles, getting them to extreme speeds so that there's enough energy when the particles collide that they can measure it. But supposedly, what they're saying is that it happens for such a brief period of time that there's not enough energy where it should affect anything on Earth, because people are afraid that if they collide something to remake what the Big Bang was, then they can see how everything got affected through the Big Bang, and how much energy can be stored and was expended, and whether they can create I think there's another theorist where saying they may be able to create an energy source that's kind of like a black hole in a way, where it's just unlimited energy, and just keep it going for long enough where it charges the batteries, and they just recreate the entire thing for. Anyways, there's a lot of scientific jargon and stuff about the Hadron Colliders, but in jest, that's what it is. It's speeding up particles in order for them to crash into each other to measure the force.
Well, I don't know if that causes earthquakes. Probably not, but it could cause some kind of disaster, possibly.
Yeah.
It might just take us all through to another dimension, for all I know.
Yeah. People are.
There's even theories about that. Yes.
Yep. People have those theories. I've heard those ones. Yeah, I've gone through them all. It's like.
I mean, there's times I feel we have been tossed into a whole nother reality.
Oh yeah, it does feel like that. That is for sure.
As long as we do it together, I don't feel so bad.
But are we doing it together, or are there many realities and we're being tossed into different ones?
Who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes I think that entire thing, and that, as long with the Mandela effect, is just a big old controlled opposition psyop thing. Just a distraction.
So what separates the Mandela effect from flat Earth?
I had
flat
experiences that I would now maybe call Mandela effect, that I didn't have a name for, and that were before I ever was on the internet, but they weren't things like Berenstain Bears or something silly like that.
I do have a Mandela effect too. I remember seeing the movie Moonraker, James Bond, in the theater when I was a kid, and Dolly had braces. She had fucking braces. The audience laughed when Jaws smiled back at her.
Yeah,
like,
that is Mandela effect. Because why would Jaws, that's the guy with the crazy teeth and the braces, smile when she smiled back? It's like he'd smile because she was wearing braces just like him. It doesn't make sense.
She was wearing her little braces, with his big Jaws chompers.
Yeah.
It was there. It was in the movie.
Exactly. And I don't see why they would make it where... I mean, it makes more sense for her to be smiling back with braces than not. I mean...
It totally does. Not only that, I remember the audience laughing when she smiled. She had braces.
I have Mandela effects too. Braces. And I don't get it. I went deep into Mandela effect, and when you get deep into it, it's like simulated world. It's like Matrix. It's like alternate realities converged, or you start getting into the there's some creator guy. I remember I did a video who created a computer. It's it's very physicist, like Richard Feynman was the one who kind of dived deep into this quantum computers. There you go, quantum computer, and that's what's causing the Mandela effect, because what they're doing is they're essentially going into another universe which is exactly the same, but taking one thing out of that universe, making just one small variable change, and then we were able to get that information of what was changed and using that information. So, but that could, like, in the theoretical physicist world, rip the fabric of time-space reality. But then, of course, that gets into the theory of relativity with Einstein. And then, of course, if you get into flat Earth, that's all wrong anyway, so it really doesn't matter.
But it's also ridiculous on its face as well. I mean, we're going to go back in time, And we're just gonna change fucking Dolly's braces in the movie Moonraker.
Yeah, I know. It's just like really all that for just that. But another
spent our entire fucking we can go back in time.
Yeah,
and this is what we're gonna do.
That's not what supposedly happens. It's not you go back in time and change it, which I never saw Moonraker. I'm not never really cared for James Bond that much, but it's more a matter of somehow splitting reality. So somehow there's still a reality where your Dolly had braces, and then there's this reality where she doesn't, and we've split off into this reality where, it didn't, or we've jumped a reality and something changed at some point. It may not have been that, but that may have been an effect of it.
Yeah. And then, well, one thing about Flat Earth, you start learning more about the physics of stuff, and because you want to relearn everything just so you could debunk Flat Earth. And you talk about gravity, and the thing about Newtonian gravity is it's all about forces. Same thing with the not just matter, but of just energy itself having the same thing. It's like an inverse mathematical formula how they gauge the amount of force between two matters and all this other stuff. But then when you get into the Einstein's theory of relativity, gravity is no longer a force. It's not a force. So either gravity is a force going through Newtonian theory or law, or Einstein's theory of relativity where gravity is not a force. So how does that work exactly? I mean, they really make these things kind of easy to like debunk in a way. So really,
well, it's also a matter of more information being available. So it modifies earlier theories that say it was very simple at that time, but you have more information, so it modifies it, and
Yet there's still no evidence of gravity naturally occurring. I mean, they made a test. I forgot who the guy was, but that test required a certain apparatus, but we don't ever see that mass attracting mass ever in the natural world. I mean, you leave two marbles together, they're not going to be attracted to each other. A long time, they're just going to sit there. They're not going to ever start moving towards each other. Anyways, it's just interesting things that I just thought I would share, just because you got all these types of theories from very big scientists that we always looked up to, and when you look into their theories, that's not testable, that we don't experience in the real world, in the natural world. Same thing with space being a vacuum. It's like there's a lot of questions towards that. With space is like we're globe Earth that's spinning with a lot of water in it, yet none of that water is shooting off. It's enclosed. Yet there's space, which is a vacuum. It should be suctioning off that water. I mean, right now, if we threw a wet tennis ball, like if you have a dog, you've thrown wet tennis balls. That ball's spinning. That water that's in that saliva or whatever that tennis ball was, that water is just gonna be splashing everywhere, and there's no vacuum.
Good doggy.
Yeah, cute doggy. Anyways, it's just things of thought. It's over 3 hours. It's great to talk to y'all again, but I think I need to start getting ready to sleep, and my throat's all harsh. But
mostly I just wanted to, talk about my little bit of detective work, and
I think that's good. Can you send me that link? I can try to grab that video. I could grab two videos. The one that was on C-SPAN, and I could play that back, and I could also do the edited clip that TYT did.
I got two videos, one for each of you.
Let me make sure I can message you on Twitter, because I don't have your email.
It's Ebon Kim at protonmail.com. You could use that one, or gmail.com. It's pretty easy. It's my name.
Ebon at
Ebon Kim, my full name.
Ebon Kim.
Yeah. I guess I'm pretty public about my stuff, so it doesn't matter. And if not, you can always comment on my YouTube channel too. That works, or comment on DLive or wherever the message gets to me some form or another.
Okay, well, I'll just have Ebon Kim at protonmail.com or gmail.com.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, I can do that.
All right, cool. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, I'll do that as soon as we're done here so I don't forget. So.
Okay. No worries. I'll probably be up just splicing some videos together anyway. So that could be quick. If you want, I could just email you back, or would you just want me to go ahead and just upload it some night?
Yeah, I don't know. You can email me back. Yeah, especially since, I don't always make it on, so I know you did a thing about it. Because
Okay.
I don't always, not always around to watch.
Okay. Yeah, I'll do both. I'll upload it and email you like a shared link where it's uploaded. And then, but I'll credit you for it. That way people can at least you get credit for it,
Yeah.
So, all right. Awesome. I'll talk to you guys later.
All right.
Good night,
All
guys. Love you.
Good night.
Yep. Good talking to you guys.
Bye.